What is going on, everybody, and welcome in. 2 weeks off, right? I think that's 2 weeks. I think we had 2 weeks off. Yeah, two solid weeks. Look, man, sometimes we give you a lot. We give you a lot. We give you all that we offer. Sometimes we got to just take a break. We just got to have a little bit of a break. And so that's what we all did. We took a little bit of a rester.
Speak for yourself.
Okay, well, not everybody. Some people still continue to work. Some people
Sin looks like he just woke up with the
Hey, man.
head going on right
look,
now.
you guys get to see my you guys get to see my hair. It's just kind of crazy.
Guys, he has hair.
Yeah, right. So it's I just didn't feel like going downstairs and getting a fucking hat. Today I don't have one beside me. So anyway, you guys get to see my head. But
use some PrePatch podcast ads, bro. Let's some PPs on your forehead.
Dude,
Let's go.
Dude.
If you knew how many
There you
PPs I've had on my forehead, you would be shocked. Actually, you probably wouldn't be
So
shocked.
you were the one that went to bed first at the parties.
Yeah, absolutely. Had a lot of dicks drawn on my face, all that kind of good stuff. My shoes filled with shaving cream, Tax, and KY jelly. So don't know which one was more uncomfortable. So
Definitely the KY.
yeah, the KY was a little weird. So, but anyway, welcome in episode 94. We are here and super excited to chat about a lot of stuff. I mean, we've got Gamescom to talk about, where there's been news up and down, new trailers have dropped, new games have come out. We've got things all across the board to talk about. It's gonna be great. Platform news. I mean, there was not a channel that we have not gotten some kind of news to talk about. So glad we're back. Glad to be here. What did you guys all do for your 2 weeks off? I know, Enigma, you got sick, so that was cool.
I was sick.
Yeah, you were sick.
I'm still kind of fighting it a little bit. But
Yeah. Scruffy, what'd you?
Not a
what'd you
man.
do?
I worked. I partied a little bit. My boy's birthday, and we watched the UFC card. Had a little rager. It was a good time. And then just worked some more, and now we're here. So that's life.
Nice. Did you guys, speaking of USC and all the fight stuff, did you guys see the mockery of the sport that is the KSI, Logan Paul, John Fury, all that, Tyler Fury, all that shit?
I think I just caught some of that stuff today.
I'm just really surprised that stuff is even still like if I was a professional boxer, I would be like, this is making a mockery of my sport. Like, you're making a mockery of what I do.
I'm gonna be real with you. The only influencer boxing I watch is Creator Clash, just because of the charity aspect.
Well, honestly, I mean, the Creator Clash stuff, at least
they're
they go
also
hard.
not going out there trying to like.
They're not trying to mock the sport. They're actually putting effort
it's just
into
a bunch
it
of amateurs doing the shit for fun.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, it's been all over my social feeds, and it's quite annoying to continuously see, because I've done it.
Yeah.
I make a habit to try to block everything that I can about Logan Paul and Jake Paul.
I was about to say, I try and not pay attention to the Paul brothers as much as I can.
But somehow it has made its way onto my feed.
I got a question for you there. Is it cold in your room by chance?
Yeah, man. Hey, you looking at my nips, bro? Hey,
they're out there.
I can't help it. No, I'm just fat, and this is a small shirt. But
he's just really excited to do the podcast.
Exactly, yeah.
Course,
and also
man,
too,
that's
Scruffy, my eyes are up here, buddy. My eyes are up here.
My eyes are going down there.
Right?
Fucking sexual harassment report here pretty quickly.
Speaking of sexy and sexual harassment, no, I don't even know how to.
Here goes the transitions tonight.
I mean, I'm just staring at Bill's manly chest to here, the hamburger meat. Bill, how you doing, buddy? How's your 2 weeks?
I'm doing well, man. It was okay.
Okay, nice.
It was okay.
All right,
Good deal.
Just chill.
Well, cool. Well, for me, I got back from Puerto Rico. Did not catch COVID. I did get sick, but I did not catch COVID. So that's good.
Thank God.
Yeah. Chilled in Puerto Rico for a week. Went gambling. Won some money. Lost some money. Came out even. So that's a win. Played in some waterfalls, which was really cool. Ate mofongo, which is not good. I'll just anybody that's
what is mofongo?
So,
it sounds funky.
I try and avoid eating mofongo. That's kind of a little
Okay, so mofongo is like it's basically plantains like mashed up, and then they
I love plantains.
Yeah,
but...
so do I, right? And I thought that it would be good, but like, and again, no discrimination, no hate to all of our Puerto Rican fan base out there. Anybody?
Is it like a squash mash?
No, it's kind of like a mashed potato, but like chunky mashed potatoes, like not where it fully gets mashed. So, and then it's very like, some places are good, some places are not that good. Like, the biggest thing about it is like it absorbs the flavor of whatever is around it. And so some places just kind of give you mofongo and it tastes like wall paste. Like literally it just
So-
tastes like drywall paste.
So
Well, I don't
it's
want your
mashed
fungo.
potatoes, but instead of potato, it's plantains.
Yes. But it has
Yeah.
but they don't like some places
And they put
season it very well.
chicharrones in it.
But it was like the
So
I don't
maybe
know.
it's better at different places. However, it's
we
like
went. I
prepared,
mean,
it
I went to
seems.
several different places, and it was
and got
it was-
and got mofongo.
got mofongo, yeah, and it was okay.
You got
It
everybody's
sound-
mofongo, not just your
It
fungo.
Sounds really good.
Sounds like it.
honestly.
It
sounds
Fried-
good.
It
fried
sounds like it would be great.
plantains
In theory, it
and
sounds great.
chicharrones.
Like
Yeah.
it sounds,
Garlic?
it sounds like it would be really good, but honestly, like the big thing there is like you have mofongo, then they top it with something. So they'll top it with chicharron, they'll top it with like pork chops, seafood, whatever. The topping is great, but then like the mofongo just doesn't soak up enough of the flavor, and it just tastes
Gotcha.
like bland. But we did do some really cool stuff. Like I said, we jumped off some waterfalls and all those kind of cool things. So it was cool. If you ever get a chance to go there, go in the winter, because even though they don't really have a winter, it was so fucking humid. It was
Oh, yeah.
so fucking humid.
It'd be a nice
it was
winter getaway
insane.
too.
It was insane. And no matter how much sunscreen you put on, you still get burnt. Like I put on layers and layers and layers of sunscreen. And if you've ever seen my kids or my wife on stream, she is if you look it up in the dictionary of a white woman, that is my wife. She is pale, fucking
She's a
pale.
pasty white Brit.
Dude, she is
Yeah.
pale. And like Casper goes, damn. Anyway, and so just loaded her up with sunscreen, and she still got burnt. Like I don't
Yeah.
know. It's I don't know if it's like the sun down there is different, but it's wild.
Some
But
people
Sun
have
down there is
a
different.
I'm telling you, man, it's weird, dude. It's weird. Also, there's
Puerto
no
Rico
fucking.
has its own sun over it.
Yes, it's got its
don't-
own sunshine.
Don't
Yeah.
go there and expect to like obey by like traffic laws, because there are like literally there's like stop
Really?
signs, nobody cares. There's fucking red lights, nobody gives a shit. There's
Sounds like
nobody
Ohio.
gives a
It
fuck.
sounds like
man.
Ohio, to be honest.
Well,
Well,
then
that's
maybe-
most U.S.
Yeah.
cities too. What are you talking about these days?
Maybe you'd have a lot of fun down there or know how to drive, but
Maybe.
it terrified the
Yeah.
shit out of me with Ubers and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
anyway, but yeah, so that was what I did over the 2 weeks.
Nice.
But
Glad y'all
happy-
had a good time there.
Yeah, absolutely. But happy to be back. Excited to be back. So let's jump into it. If you are new to the show, and this is your first one, well, stop right here. Go listen to, we'll keep us up in the background, but go like queue it up for the other 93 episodes that we've got. But we talk about all of the streaming platforms news, whether it be Twitch, whether it be YouTube or Kick. Yeah, this week is no different. I think, where did I'm on the Twitch news. Duh. And so Twitch had two things kind of roll out, one of which we can't find the article for. I don't know why it's like gone missing, but Twitch has updated and adds new rules around their banned users. I don't know if you guys saw this or kind of looked at it. To me, this is kind of the thing that I
thought
should
this was
exist
already a feature.
No,
yeah, like when
No.
they released it, I was like, I thought that was already a fucking thing. But yeah, no, apparently not.
No,
No.
never was an actual thing. I think as up until now, it's always just been like shadow bans, pretty
Yes.
much.
Yeah,
yeah.
like
So
they could still watch and
you
everything.
can still watch,
Yeah.
right?
You just couldn't participate in chat.
Correct.
Pretty much. Or I don't know if they could. Their
They could
chats
type,
wouldn't be
but they
seen.
wouldn't be seen. Yeah, so they could
The
type
chat
in chat,
system,
but nothing
yeah.
would be seen.
So-
They basically were just there, and they thought they were participating, but they're not. But now
Exactly.
it basically completely blocks them. They can't be seen at all. They can't see the stream, any of that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it still doesn't stop anything from somebody creating another account and then just.
And it's something that's optional too.
Yeah.
You could turn it on and off. Your bans don't have to be this like complete shut off.
Okay. I was curious because I know a lot of like big streamers and stuff will ban like people for random reasons sometimes, it seems like. And
Yeah.
like yeah, I think it's good to have an option just so that if you happen to be banned somehow, some way, but still want to enjoy the content, you can.
So a lot of this is coming up in conversation more because there's two sides of it. One of which, like, I'm kind of on the side of like, I like the shadow ban policy because I still want the viewer. Like, I don't give a shit if you're a toxic piece of shit. I don't give a care as long as I can't see what you're texting and whatever else.
Hate watchers are loyal, man.
Yeah, they still watch you. But
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen all the stuff that's been going on with like Fusi or whatever is Falsy or whatever his
I
name
don't
is.
wanna-
I don't like him. I don't like his content. I don't whatever else. But like all of the swatting that's been going on. And so a large community is like, no, it needs to be permanently banned like this because it stops them from being able to SWAT. And I'm like, well, no, it doesn't. And then
It doesn't stop them. It just stop. Well, it doesn't even stop their satisfaction because they'll still get if somebody does something like that, which nobody should ever do, they'll still get the sources elsewhere. It won't be
I mean,
live.
to be fair, if somebody's
But
determined enough, all you have to do is log out of your account and watch anonymous.
Yeah.
Yeah, but well, there was a thing with their bans in the past that they went IP.
Well, yeah, they were toying with IP bans, but then that they
I don't
didn't
know if
like
that
that
went through.
idea, and so
No.
well, because it hurts Twitch. Like if they IP ban you permanently, that hurts Twitch.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
So-
yeah. So,
I don't think that they're gonna do that. So, but this is basically the features that they talked about. It rolled out to everybody. It's optional. It works instantly. If you ban somebody in the middle of a stream, it's gonna instantly cut them off midstream. Blocked users will automatically be prevented from watching, and it does not prevent. I don't know what the rest of this says. Hold on. It does not prevent them from watching VODs or clips for right now. So yeah.
that's
So
interesting.
yep.
I
Yeah.
just find it interesting that Twitch is doing this, where banning somebody can shut them off from your stream, but they're not doing anything about embeds.
Yeah, well, that was actually what I was gonna say because embeds have now all have come back again. I don't think they've ever gone away, but like the
They
topic
never went
is-
away.
No, I'm
They
saying
didn't
the
go
top.
away,
I'm saying
but
the
they-
topic, like the topic has come back.
Yeah, because Baldur's Gates was a big
Yeah.
one with certain platforms using their personal websites to boost their views into that category in particular. And then there's the Opera browser made a VTuber and had their stream embedded on anybody using their browser. And
So I
Nice.
don't understand that because I use Opera GX, but what do you mean it embedded it? Like to where? Like
I'm not sure. I just know that they
Oh.
boosted their stream through the Opera
okay.
embed, like
'Cause,
it
yeah,
was
when you-
embedded somewhere within the browser. I don't know what part of it or how it was embedded, but I do know that it was proven to have
That's
been a
interesting.
boosted stream because it hit like 70,000 instantly from creation of the channel.
Yeah, because
That's
I was
wild.
curious
Probably-
about when you said that if it was
it's probably
hidden
their-
somewhere.
No, it's probably on their GX corner because like if you open up GX corner, they have like a an area with like the video embed from YouTube and shit.
Did you guys see where and we're not
At least
going to
on mine
mention
it
the
is.
name of said streamer, but the streamer that had the Baldur's Gate stream embedded in the Baldur's Gate wiki, the
Oh, wow.
the Diablo 4 wiki, the Dark and Darker wiki, and their Starfield wiki, and they were getting views from all of those.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yep.
So yeah, and it's
They were also
actually,
inflating or they were also manipulating like contest votes on all of those Reddits as well, which is another reason why they were banned from them.
so I don't know. I
Dang.
really wish that they would focus on embed stuff because I think it is a problem, and
It's a huge problem.
they there's a lot of in my industry specifically, like working in the partnerships field, like it's tough because if you're not aware of what's going on and don't know about the embeds, like you would go to these streamers and be like, oh, these numbers are crazy out through the roof,
Mhm.
and so they get a sponsorship, they get a paid based on their CCV, and it's all fake, like it's not real, and so
Right.
Well, that's
it's-
exactly why they get their like early access copies, their review copies. That's why they get shipped out to these events and stuff, is because of their inflated viewer count. I would love to see if they still got the same
Like treatment.
acceptance from the game developing,
Yeah.
like the game developer space, if their true numbers were shown. Which even still at this point, they probably do have a fairly loyal base that has watched them from the inflation. It's probably irreversible at this point, but it would definitely be interesting.
Well, I think there's
Yeah.
a handful of creators for sure that, like, there's one in particular we all know, and again, we're not going to mention their name, that I think is as popular as that. They're not as popular as what their number shows, but they're still popular. But like, there's still a good handful that are inside of that, that are on very popular websites that are nowhere close.
Right.
So
I wonder how far that goes too with like the embeds of like some people even know that their views are being counted, or like if they're even aware that there's an embed. Like, isn't there like some ways you can hide it too? Like
I mean, even look at us, right? So myself and you, we I mainly stream on Kick, and you have streamed on Kick as well. Like, I know damn good and well when I turn on my stream and it automatically says there's 2, and then when somebody jumps in, it goes from 2 to 6, and from 6 to 14, 14 to 30. I'm like, dude, I know that there's not 30 people watching me
in there. Yeah.
like in this stream. Like, I know that because I can see, who's chatting, and there's not that many lurkers. So like, as a streamer, and for these guys that have been and girls that have been doing it for this long, yes, you absolutely know that it's a problem. So, and we can't find the other this like kind of rolls directly into the other thing that Twitch announced, which is they also announced like the discovery thing. I don't know why I couldn't find the link.
I can't find it. It's supposed to have been posted on Twitter. It was supposed to be posted on Twitter, but like I legitimately cannot find anything on Twitter.
So what we're talking about there is that basically we mentioned this a couple podcasts back, where Twitch was launching out their kind of discovery feature, where they were going to be basically kind of doing like a featured clips and like shorts and stuff like that, in a way where like you could kind of scroll through it, right, and kind of find like these clips in a way, and that's supposedly have been rolled out or started to have rolled out to people, and I don't know, again, we can't find it, but like my thing is like when you have stuff that's going on that is rampant, like with embeds and with like at that point, like that kind of sours the discoverability piece, because again, it's always pushing that top. It's always pushing, the people at the top.
I think I found it.
And not the people down below.
Let me link this.
So
I don't know. Pretty sure. Let me throw it in the chat.
Twitch will forever be a kingmaker system until they get like a true algorithm. Like, yes, this is useful, pushing like snippets of content, but it's not that much more useful than what they've got with their homepage right now, with like the ticker and stuff.
Okay.
Dude,
did you get that?
Their ticker, yeah, I'm pulling it now. Their ticker is atrocious, by the way. Like
it's real bad.
It's
and then their recommended recommended videos, like what we were talking earlier in the week with the thumbnails that Twitch whatever grabs is interesting.
Is that what you were looking for?
Maybe, yeah. The discovery feed, yeah. This is what I was.
But this is from like July.
No, the top one.
No, this is like what they're featuring. They're announcing that they launched or starting today and then starting August 8th. So, I mean, I'm happy that they're focusing on something discoverability wise, but if you don't think that it's still gonna push top end talent, like it's I don't know.
Yeah.
So
100% it is. I mean, just today I did feature a few clips or old clips. I was just curious though, so I guess we'll see.
And I'm wondering,
gain 1 or 2 views because they are old clips. Trust me.
Well, I'm wondering too. Like, so I mean, that's interesting because I will see it and wait and see, because that's the one thing I do love about like YouTube's algorithm with and the way they do it, because like I follow the PrePatch podcast, and obviously our clips. By the way, if you don't follow PrePatch podcast, you should subscribe to us on YouTube. And you can get like all of our clips and things like that. So if you miss the show, you get all of our kind of some of the best content that came out of the show. But that's like funneled into me constantly, whereas with this, I don't, when did you upload? Like, when did you start that? Like, did you feature them today?
Literally
yesterday?
just today. I saw a tweet saying people can start featuring them. So I literally just clicked it.
And
actually, I would be interested to see you since you have an inactive Twitch account right now. You should do it too, just as a test, a theory, see if anything happens. Yeah. I'm curious just to see if anything happens from that too, being that your account isn't active.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Why not?
We'll see. Yeah, doesn't hurt anything. So
no.
So yeah. Well, that brings us right into the YouTube news, which is, give me 1 second, make sure I've got it pulled up here. So we got a couple of bits of YouTube news. So one of the first things is, I don't think it's a shocker to anybody, but their YouTube is being accused of aiming ads at kids and promising that it wouldn't. Essentially, I think, Bill, were you the one that put this in? Who put this in? Just
no, I put this in.
You did?
I didn't even hear about this.
Yeah, I didn't hear about it either.
So back, this was back in a while ago.
I do remember them saying that.
Yeah, they got in a lot of trouble for like targeting like specifically children for certain
Yeah.
or for certain ads.
Like probably
They got in a lot of trouble with
age
it.
restricted videos, I'm sure, right?
Some of them, yeah. So some
I
of them were
imagine
not so
that's how
much.
they factor into, you know, finding the content that kids are watching.
Somewhat, yeah. I just remember back they got in trouble because a couple of them were like, again, we have issues with like Twitch and their advertisements where you have like condom ads going out to like 14-year-olds and shit like that. You know, it's the same kind of thing that happened here. You had like Victoria's Secret ads and beer ads and everything like that being pushed out to children for some reason. But yeah, they basically, when they got in trouble with it with the FTC and the U.S. Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, the COPA, I think is what it was called.
Yeah, it's Copa.
Yeah.
They got a lot of trouble with that, and they basically were like, yeah, we're not going to do it again, we promise. I think they got sued as well. But yeah, no, they got caught. They're personalizing ads for children.
Sued in June, yeah.
So they got caught out on it. I don't know if it's been confirmed yet or not, or if this is just the first like filings and everything like that. But yeah, apparently,
Well,
the report claims that
yes.
clicking on an ad adjacent to a 4Kids video in the app leads to YouTube to open an advertising website in a special in-app web viewer browser. So like, I don't know if you guys have ever like looked at like YouTube for kids. I have a nephew that obviously we have to have it, right? When like that entire thing is locked down. So like when they're actually making it so that they can come out of that YouTube app for kids and click on ads, that's huge. That's not good, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like that's a possibility for like loss of money from the parents if they're just like literally just handing their kid over the iPad or whatever, and it's got their their credit card details and everything like that marked down on it. It's literally just a one click away and they can buy whatever the hell they want to, essentially. So
Wow.
very interesting stuff. I think there should be a picture of it in there as well.
Yeah, it's right here. Like it just shows how they did it, or like how they market.
Not surprising, unfortunately. It's
And then on
Yeah.
how they get
the
around
way
it.
YouTube is. Most of these sites are.
Yeah. And then on top of that, they also YouTube is trying to figure out an AI strategy to work with music labels. Basically, essentially trying to get around the kind of the DMCA. You know, I mean that's a big thing for all creators, whether it's streamers or not. Is basically just being able to play.
So they're trying to use AI to get around paying royalties, essentially.
I mean, I don't know if it's that they're trying to get around paying for.
So
like
they're investing in building like a management system for content IDs to update policies on like uploaded content that's been manipulated by AI. So like we've talked about it in the past. AI, when it comes down to like AI generated art, right? A lot of that art is copied from something else and shifted around a little bit, right? So like AI generated music is just like that. It's just taking music that's already out there and shifting it around a bit and making it another 20% different, essentially, in some cases, right?
Like,
so basically YouTube is trying to figure out a way that they can get a like a content ID system out, and they want to update their policies on uploading content that's been manipulated and deployed through generative AI tools to help detect those kinds of videos and such.
When you're talking about like the AI generated music and stuff, you're talking about like Patrick Starr singing like "My Heart Will Go On" or something.
No. So yes, in some instances, but also no in other instances. Like there are actual AI generated music. Like you can go to certain AIs and they'll generate complete music for you.
They quote one right here is basically "Heart on My Sleeve," right? It went viral on TikTok. It's featuring vocals by what sounded like Drake and The Weeknd, but it was AI created.
Right.
Yeah. So yes, in some instances, yes, it is trying to contact that, or it is trying to like push that stuff as well. But in other instances, it's trying to push.
Have
like,
you all heard Patrick Starr sing those songs though?
Yeah, man. Did you not hear the one that I posted last night from Eric Cartman?
Sim?
Yeah,
I'm not watching your Cartman sings,
bro. He sings so good though, bro. Like I am like physically shook at how good he sang that, bro.
It hits the soul. Some of them,
like Eric Cartman's got that rasp, but it just hits, man. It hits.
My My also kind of thing on this too was that I thought I could have sworn I saw a report that came out with this that was talking about them utilizing this strategy and working with UMG, which is Universal Music Group, to be able to open up the ability for creators to have access to songs with inside their label, because I know like YouTube has like YouTube Music, like they have their version of like a list of
Yeah.
songs you can go and
They
select
they
and say,
have
hey, add
they
this
have
in.
copyrighted songs that they've personally like bought the rights for. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I swear I saw an article that was according to like working with this, because I know they're partnering with UMG. Like that's one of the biggest things that they're partnering with, is because to help kind of
It's right there at the bottom. The Financial Times are reporting that UMG and Google, YouTube's parent company, are in talks to license artists' voice and melodies to
Yes,
train
okay.
AI models.
yeah. Okay.
So yes, they are. I don't know. It's a weird one, man. I'm getting really worried about like the whole
AI thing. Yeah,
because
the
like
AI
it's
takeover,
starting
man.
to get to like it was cool at the start, and I was like, oh, this is a really cool tool, and we use AI personally on the actual podcast to do some like minor
Yeah.
edits on our videos.
Well,
and everything
Enigma
like that.
is AI.
But
You guys just
I
don't
am
know
AI
that.
technically. Yeah, I'm just an offshoot of Bill.
Well, Bill's really not even here. He's on the beach with his tentacles in the sand.
I wish, man.
So it's one of those things where I am getting a little worried about it, and I'm a proponent to use AI, but like it's starting to get to a point where like
it's the way that
voiceover
it's
talents,
used.
like voiceover talents, video editing, deep fakes, everything like that, like is being pushed into these AIs, and it's
Hey,
getting
I
to a point where
finally
it's getting a little
saw. I mean, I've
scary.
seen a few, but I saw a legit looking deep fake of like Justin
Yeah.
Bieber repping some.
There's a lot
app
of
or
them, man.
something.
It's
But I've seen a legit, one that
crazy.
is starting to really look real.
Well, dude, I scroll through. I'll go through
crazy.
YouTube Shorts, man, and it's like the uncanny,
Oh,
like
yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. or whatever else, and
Yeah.
it's all AI deepfakes.
Yeah.
If you
Well,
want,
you take that you take that Eric Cartman song, right? Like it sounds exactly like him. Like that they have trained that model so well that like it's impeccable. You can't tell.
I didn't watch all of it, but there was one and we don't got to keep going on about examples, but Asmongold had one come out on him. Did you see that?
No, I haven't seen that
Yeah,
one.
he was singing some like rap song or something.
That's funny.
dude,
But it sounds like him, man.
you
It's
want
crazy.
something? So there's a documentary called "Who's War," like Who's
Mm-hmm.
War on Netflix. Go watch it. It talks about AI and the AI use in military applications and where it's at and where it's
man.
going and stuff like that. Let me tell you something. It will like
Scary
on
stuff, man.
both sides. You're
Yeah.
just kind of like, well, because you at the end of it, you're just kind of like, well, what's the point of fighting this? Because one part is like
Well-
trying to fight against it, the other part is not.
There was that AI that turned back on the soldiers.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Dude,
and
that's
started shooting them.
That's
That-
nothing compared to what is in this
Really?
thing, dude. Nothing.
Dude.
There's an AI that they turned around that they created to be able to create like healthy molecules to be able to combat like diseases, cancer, Parkinson's, all of these like debilitating diseases. And when they were
Oh,
doing
man.
it, spoiler alert for this thing, but like when they were doing it, all they did was change one number from a 0 to a 1. They changed one number and it turned it into, they were just like, let's see if it can be toxic. And it came out with 40,000 undiscovered molecule combinations that are 10 times as worse than VX, which is like one of the top nerve agents for biological
my
warfare.
God.
And they were like, what the fuck have we done? Like we got to shut this down right now, because it was just like creating all of these like deadly things. It's wild, dude. It gives you goosebumps. Go watch it. It's worth a watch.
Who's War?
Who's War? Yeah, on Netflix.
Whose war is it?
That's what they're saying. So,
In an
What is it good
interesting
for?
turn with AI, though, before we move on to the next topic, it was federally a U.S. federal judge deemed that AI generated art cannot be copyrighted.
I saw that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, did that come out?
Yeah, that
Is that-
that was five days ago. This is in the artist space, and I think it also extends into.
I think it extends to music as well.
It
as
extends
video.
to music and voice acting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So are they saying that AI generated period, or is it something, because again, like we said, AI generated is based off of another thing. Are they saying that it's like
That's
using
what
its
they're
fair
talking about.
use?
Well,
Like,
yeah,
because
he's like,
no,
you
they're
can't
they're stating
copyright
they're stating
the
that
AI
you can't
work.
copyright the AI work. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not able to be copyrighted with
right,
the,
but
through
are
the 20%
people able to
different rule.
are people able to sue against that? Because
Yeah.
for instance, like Secret Invasion, right? They used AI to generate the art
Mhm.
for that stuff, but like that art came from the first, like some of the first shit that the artists had done that worked for Disney, and then they scrapped it and they used AI. Would the
Yeah.
artist be able to sue Disney and say, you still used my stuff to create this? Like, would they be able to do that? Because if it's not copyrightable, then at the same time,
I
isn't
mean,
that break
it
lawsuit?
depends. It depends on like if they were actually like employed by Disney, then probably not, because Disney probably owns whatever they created. So, but yes, technically,
wild.
if it was like art that they created outside of, and he was just like, oh hey, look, this would be cool, and then they said no and still used it, then yes, 100% he would be able to go
Wow.
in as long as he copyrighted it. That is.
Wild
Right.
times, man. Wild times, bro.
Yeah, it's only gonna get worse.
AI is gonna be creepy. Well, it already is creepy. It ain't gonna be creepy. It's already there. The only thing in YouTube news was that links on channel pages are now viewable by everyone on YouTube.
Nice.
So okay, just what is this? I am unfamiliar with what this means.
They're reworking their link policy, making it so that links are more of a prominent spot on channel pages. So whenever you go to somebody's channel, their links will be like displayed up at the top.
Yeah, 'cause it's really hard to find them at the current moment.
If you go to like our YouTube page, PrePatch Podcast, at
should
PrePatch
go to
Podcast,
that.
by the way, you should go to that and subscribe to it. It used to be all of our links, like our anchor and all the rest of our links, you used to have to go to
About
like
tab,
the
right?
about page.
Right.
About
Now
tab,
it's
yeah.
displayed up at the top. Like you can click on that and it just goes directly to where all of our links are at. So
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And
I
you can
didn't
have
know
up
if
to
this-
14 links, and this is kind of their counterpoint to. I know it was a few podcasts ago they were saying that they were disabling the ability for links on shorts, I think, or certain links on
they-
shorts.
Yeah, like external links. It seems that they disabled external links, but they allowed the ability to link long form content.
Did they?
Right.
Did they
So-
also increase the ability, like for things that have like okay, and this is maybe only specific to somebody like myself, but like whenever you go to like click on someone's links and they had it necessarily hidden, or you had to like click a box to see it, a lot of times like the emails like that, you were limited to the amount of times you could do that. You could only do it like I think like 5 or 10 times before it was blocked. Did they open? You might know if they opened that shit up.
I've never
I
run
I have
into
no
that
clue
issue.
what the
I
hell
don't
you're
know.
talking
Yeah,
about.
I
Well,
don't know what you mean.
Next time you're on there, go to someone's like thing about me page or whatever else, and if they have business email, you can click on it and it'll review it. Click on that.
It might. I mean that might be an anti-botting thing that they're trying to get rid of. Like that might be something that's
It's
like
annoying
a
as shit.
a crawler, like a defense against crawlers. So
I'm not crawling. I'm just trying to email people.
you are crawling, sir. You're crawling for
not a
emails.
crawler. So anyway,
Oh, I'm not a robot. I see
cool.
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
cool.
So
Yeah,
there's a limit on how many times you can do that.
5.
Yeah,
I think it's like 5 or 10.
It's like I
Gotcha.
said, it's a defense against like web
Yeah.
crawlers going
And
out there and just
I
This-
got
picking up
you
shit.
now.
This link change is not just on mobile, right? On the app, it's across the whole platform.
No, it's across all
yeah, it's
platforms.
across the
That's good.
platform.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not live yet, though, is it?
It is.
Maybe my
I
shit's not updated.
don't know if it is.
I don't think
thought
it
it
is
was.
released.
I thought it was on ours.
I mean, it
I'm-
says
I'm
visible,
still having to
visible for
go to
viewers
about-
as of today. I mean, that's what this was.
Oh, yep, it is. I see
Yeah,
my
mine's
Discord
23.
link
Mine's
there.
live.
Okay.
I'm
Mine
good,
might
yeah.
not be updated. Sometimes I don't know.
Yeah, I'll need to update that stuff. Cool.
All right, cool. Well, there you go. All right. Well, moving on to the Kick side of things. Kick had some new updates come out to their app, which is desperately needed because their mobile
Yeah,
apps
app is
suck
rough.
dick.
Balls.
It was terrible, to say the least. And so they added some new big things to it. You do have to manually go, at least mine did not auto update. You do have to manually go and update it. But essentially they've now go to 1.51, which they've added VOD scrubbing, chat replay, a lot of stuff to be able to like view VODs correctly. There was a horrible thing that I got where like you could not rotate your screen to go landscape mode.
Had that.
They fixed that
Good.
and added that in there. They added toggle buttons, rotating the phone.
Wait, they added taco buttons?
toggle. Yeah, taco.
Toggle?
You can hit a button, get a
Oh.
taco.
I was
It
like,
just-
bro,
It shoots a taco out of its charging port. It's great.
fucking added taco buttons. I might move to Kick if that's the case, man. Free tacos, let's go.
Added they added new green emotes, sure. Added animation to loading and VOD clips. Just basically a bunch of new updates that came to the thing. The one thing that I want to talk about that we actually don't have in the notes, but I do want to bring up this, and this is actually something big, and I'm gonna call this out. Like, this is the platform that I am streaming on, but I'm gonna call it out. So Kick Eddie, who, if you're unfamiliar with who Eddie is, Steak Eddie is the owner of Kick. He's CEO. He's like and he's also one of the co-founders of Steak. So he made this statement saying that we'll have 51% of the English-speaking live streaming viewership by April 2024, and that the first 10% has already been achieved. That's not true. Like, that is a bold-faced lie. And if you actually go into here and go to
Kick lying about their growth.
where
Who'd have thought?
is the? I'm looking
not
for
the
the
first time.
specific. Here it is. So
Not a surprise.
So
Not the last time.
Stream Charts talked about this and said basically can't confirm regarding 10%. If we take all platforms, and if you're not familiar with Stream Charts is kind of like the standard that a lot of companies use.
And honestly, like
analytics.
I don't even really think you need Stream Charts. Just look at their viewership. Like, I don't really feel like their viewership is 10% of the fucking viewership. Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, they basically said in here, they were like, if you take all of them and all channels in English speaking, in July, Kick generated 4.05% from English live streaming hours watched.
I can see that, yeah.
Like, and if you only counting, and what I think is significant is they're saying, they're basically, and kudos to them, like, kudos to Stream Charts for doing this, right?
I mean,
you know, is to
Calling them
go,
out.
you're only counting, and if you're only counting Twitch and Kick, then that's a wrong concept, because you're talking about English live streaming. And actually, YouTube just had a thing that came out like moments ago where an article showed that YouTube has actually surpassed Twitch for teens to go view gaming
I saw
content.
that, yeah.
Which is big. That's really big. But they're basically saying, like, you can't just compare these two, and if you are comparing these two, that the percentage of English streamers hours watched generated only 7.34%. So this is not true. Was just a flat out bald faced lie. On their stand.
All right.
Their
Way to
point.
go.
shocker.
Steak Eddie.
Yep. So, on top of that, Kick also, this is coming from the Staro, but Kick also shared an update. We talked about this a while back, which leads into kind of some of the things that may be not as true as what we're hearing, which is that, Kick is buying creators.
Yeah.
And they're sharing, and again, I think it was Eddie, right? Eddie was the one that talked about this.
Yeah, they were interviewing the CEO, Eddie.
But basically they're saying that he wanted too much money, that and that it seems like they were implying that 50 million was the number, and then that basically Kick is saying that it couldn't meet that number or match that number. But also too that a lot has now come out saying that the contracts that have been said that Kick is putting out there, or well, the streamers are putting out there, isn't true. So for instance, XQC's, that actually it really wasn't $100 million, that it was less than $100 million, and that
has that been confirmed?
So
because that was just my interpretation of that. Was like,
so Trainwrecks came out today as well. There's an article about Trainwrecks, who is
Gotcha.
I don't know where he falls in the whole like C-suite.
I think he's like a co-founder.
Yeah, I don't know if he's a co-founder or if he is an advisory role or what, but he kind of came out and said, hey, a lot of these lucrative deals that people are talking about and spouting about on Kick with their deals are actually fabricated, and that's actually hurting Kick, because what's happening is you've got, and he referenced Doc.
Is there nothing against false advertising with this kind of shit?
Well, the problem is that Kick themselves, it's not the ones that Kick are coming out and saying, it's the ones that the creators are then coming out and saying, I got $100 million deal from Kick. And then I don't know if they can go after Kick for saying like, hey, like, you're not shutting this down. Like, you're not saying that's not true.
It should be part of their contracts and not be able to fabricate their fucking.
They can't. I mean, they can't go after Kick for not saying anything about it, but like they can 100% go after Kick for like promoting it. Yeah, 100%.
I would think, yeah.
If they're caught by anybody, or if they're caught at basically confirming that these people are coming over and they're not saying anything against the fact that like that's not their real contract.
And that's probably bringing streamers
Yeah,
to
because
kick
it
get
is false
buyouts
advertising.
to,
Yeah.
to
I mean-
get higher contracts, right?
Well, that's
So-
what Trainwreck is saying is that basically
right.
in like this, for instance, which again I think that Doc is actually a steal at $50 million. To be 100%
Yeah,
honest.
dude,
Like,
that's what I was saying. Is
I
like
think
I
it's
think
shit.
I think I would have went for 100
Doc-
million on him rather
Yeah.
than XQC personally,
But what he is
and
saying,
that's if they paid XQC 100 million. Like
Right.
that's the biggest thing that came up with this whole entire thing was like I'm looking at it now and I'm like, well, did XQC actually get 100 million? Or did he just get a certain amount of money and then he got some kickbacks for
Yeah,
doing doing gambling and shit, because
right.
like that's the biggest thing with that's been a huge deal recently is like everybody like Shaq. I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but like Shaq's even like, hey, I might start streaming for $100 million deal. He's actually trying to get like a
Well,
deal
yeah.
from
I mean, these
streaming
contracts
services and shit.
go above and beyond even what
Yeah.
athletes make, dude.
Well, yeah.
It's,
Well,
So
I mean,
it's just a
groundbreaking.
It makes you wonder if Rice Gum was actually being truthful whenever
Yeah.
he was discussing the contract that he turned down.
100%.
Because
man.
XQC was the first one to shoot down that Rice Gum was being like
Mhm.
not
Right.
saying that it was true. Maybe he actually was.
And like if
Because
it
he
actually
said
if it
it was
ever
a lump sum, and then he said the rest of it was going to be paid out based off of how many hours he spent,
How many hours he spent,
streaming and gambling. They had
Yeah,
a
the
requirement
gambling.
for him to hit.
Yeah.
Yep.
and that would honestly make sense because like if it did come out ever that like XQC was in on this and his contract deal wasn't actually 100 million, he could get into trouble for it too, like
I would
for
think,
false
yeah,
advertising with that as
definitely.
well. So it's just it's a really slippery slope, and like when it came down to like them, like his exact words were let me see where it was. I cover for me. Doc wants 50 mil, and Doc's not playing around with that number. Or no, this was Chinese. I think this wasn't I the CEO, whatever his name is. This wasn't him doing the interview. I don't know who
no,
Chinese is.
he's the head of product.
Cake head of product, yeah.
Yeah.
So Paulie I'm probably butchering your last name, Chinese. That's what it looks like to me. We'll just call you Paulie. Paulie basically said that Doc wants 50 million and he's firm on that, which he should be. 50 million
Know
for
your
Doc
worth.
is like 50 million for Doc is like underselling himself in
Yeah.
my opinion, like we've said. But he says, I love the Doc. I've watched him for years and years. I think he's one of the most entertaining streamers in the business. But 50 million is 50 million. And I'm like, you're the company that's literally going out there on a daily basis going, who wants contracts? Who wants
Well,
contracts? Who wants contracts?
That's what I was going to say about this whole thing too, is that I think that this kind of points to a bigger thing of saying like, this is why Twitch made it a thing of like, you keep those numbers quiet,
Yeah.
right? Like you keep
Yeah,
that
well,
number
right.
quiet, because once you open Pandora's box, whether
Yeah.
you lie or tell the truth, if
once it gets out
it's
that you're
done.
doing contracts, once it gets out that you're handing out contracts, everybody wants contracts. So it's like that old saying of like, if you ever win the lotto, don't tell anybody that you won the lotto. Don't go out and start spending money like you won the lotto, because once you do that, everybody's going.
Yeah, I wonder if that had anything to do with Mixer's demise too, because wasn't numbers coming out for Mixer's buyouts?
Yeah, but Mixer wasn't really like going out there and being like, "Hey, here's a contract for you. Here's a contract for you." They were just buying people left and right.
They were buying some big names though at first.
They
to
were
really
buying big
gain
names, but they weren't
some
going out
attention,
there. They weren't going
No,
out
not
there on
left and
social
right.
media and being like, "Hey,
No.
who wants a contract?" It was just
but
it was
the
very
numbers were
backdoor
coming out on
deals.
social media though.
They were, yeah, and
Yeah.
that's not.
Still, I was just thinking, Rip Mixer that with their,
Yeah.
their poor
So it
demise.
just this entire thing kind of made me question like if Kick is actually doing as well as they say they are.
So
right?
the other side of this, the flip coin, is that they just launched their Kick First Class.
Yeah,
I don't know if
their
you guys saw
their
that. So
hourly payout.
Their hourly
right,
shit.
where they're
Yeah.
paying out certain content creators. They did a first wave of 50, and then they're going to do another wave of 50, then they're going to do another wave of 100, with the goal to add all affiliates by I think 2025 is what they said to it, to where they're going to pay out creators. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what your guys' thoughts on this. I mean, because again, we all thought that this was kind of like, I don't know if they're going to be able to do this, or this is just
I
Kick
still
being
don't
Like
Kick.
sustain it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I still don't think
know.
it's sustainable at all. Like we've talked
Right.
about it multiple times, and I don't really want to go over it
I mean,
anymore. 'cause
I think it would
we've
be
brought it up so many times, but like
huge. I think
it would be huge.
It would be huge.
100%. It would be
everything,
It'd
dude.
be a
Like,
big
but
mix up.
Yeah,
the
that's the
streaming
big
verse,
question:
but
is it sustainable?
I don't think it's profitable or sustainable on their part.
I have no idea honestly on that side of things.
Especially given the fact that they're only a 5% cut on subs, right?
Yeah.
95.5, yeah.
95.5. So like with 5%,
they're paying out a lot of money.
you're paying
You're
out
not
a ton of
taking
money.
in a lot of money.
And
Yeah, but you know what-
again,
you know what that
we've
allows
talked
for
about
them-
it being a what's an advertising an advertising platform
Scheme,
for them
yeah.
for stake and everything like that. But like, I
Yeah, but
don't know,
you know what
man.
that allows to now happen, which I didn't think about until recently, is that if they go down that route, there's laws that are set in place based on how many tax breaks and what tax breaks you're able to
Yeah.
get based on employees. And because of the way that donations and subs work, they don't fall under that category. That falls under, I
Yeah.
believe, if it's charitable donations and
Charitable
organizations
donations, yeah.
and employees. If stake swings this way and go, or if kick swings this way,
That's a
and
whole nother side of
go,
things, man.
now they get a tax break, which right now per employee under a certain amount, you can get, I think it's up to $125,000 per employee over a 2-year time frame. Like, again, we're not financial advisors. We cannot get, like, this is not financial
Right.
advice, but that now they just put 50 people on payroll. You know what I mean? Like this now becomes a 50 people payroll. That's tax
True.
deductible. That is, taxable income.
True, but the only other problem with that is that like and the reason why Twitch gets away with it is because everybody, like all affiliates and all partners, are contractors essentially, right? Instead
Right,
of
but
employees, which an hourly pay would have to be under an employee, I would imagine, at least.
well, they could still put it under contract, but it falls under that charitable organization, which doesn't deem as many tax breaks as a full-fledged corporation does.
Well, what I was trying to say is like you've at that point you've got to, like, if they do have to label them as employees rather than contractors or whatever you want to call it, you've got different employee laws per state, per continent.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
You
I
know?
mean, does that mean that
So
I
it's-
now get, if this comes to me, do I get health benefits through Kick or Stake
yeah,
or whatever?
that's the big is like over in the UK you've got stuff that's like they have to provide a certain amount of healthcare per employee. You've got like different what's called employment practices that you have to follow. Like my state personally is an at will employer state, so like
Yeah.
they can just fire you for whatever. But like California, you have to have a reasonable cause, and then even after reasonable cause, you still have to do like several warnings. And if you don't follow that and you terminate them, like you can get in a shit ton of trouble for that. Like
Yeah.
it just opens up
interesting.
a Pandora's box for it.
Yeah.
Again, the streaming landscape is wild right now, guys.
And that's why I just don't understand how it's feasible. But
The other side,
it's big.
with Kick, this came up. This actually came up earlier on, but this is during our break. Kick has got some security concerns. I don't know if they've officially. I don't think they've officially addressed this. But essentially, what was going on? And correct me if I'm wrong, because I know Enigma, you're the one that found this. Was basically that they could. They could. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So essentially, what happened was this: there was some people. I don't know if they were gray hat hackers or if they were just cybersecurity agents of some sort. Some people like to go into websites and like test their security features. A lot of people did it for Twitch when Twitch first started, and Twitch got in trouble for it because they had a lot of shit that they didn't really secure. So essentially, what happened was I think they found a couple of different situations that could happen. One of the biggest ones was like they could get into your system through like uploading vaporware and like spyware and shit just
Like
through
the panels, right?
yeah, well, not just
Yeah.
through your panels,
That
but
was like pinned
through like
messages
the
too, yeah.
video. Yeah, through like your video stream. There was
Oh,
also
wow.
some situations of like they could physically like go into the back end of the code and change up their display names and like how they are displayed on the actual website. So like they could go in there and all of a sudden they could be like Trainwreck and they're not
Right.
Trainwreck, and they could start talking shit in your chat as Trainwreck essentially. And there was just there was a couple of different things. It was, I think the biggest security concern was the one where they found that you basically like you could inject code and you could inject spyware, malware, et cetera, just through like live video feed sources, which is huge. That's very scary considering the fact that like you'll never know about it until
Right.
whatever they upload goes off, you know. And then the biggest concern was like they brought it up to Kick, and Kick's official response was like, "Oh yeah, we've got dedicated people that take care of this. Here's the email address for our bug catching team." They didn't really even fucking address it. They were just like, "Yeah, well, whatever, man. It's cool. We actively receive reports for that. You know, it's whatever." So I don't know if they've actually like
I don't-
more fully like addressed this yet or not. I personally haven't seen anything addressed about it, but
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
it.
I'm
Some
looking
of
at
those are crazy, man. Like some of those are very scary.
It is scary, man.
I'm looking at any of this, and I'm not seeing anything so far that's come out
Yeah.
that says. I mean, they have this, so basically, I know the two-factor authentic, but that's not really talking about that.
Yeah, it's not going to help. Yeah.
Uh,
So it's a and again I can't fault Kick for it because again it's every website has this kind of stuff. You'll have these gray hatters that go through and just kind of fuck around with your site code just to see what kind of backdoor access and what kind of security concerns they can have. And
Right.
then usually if they're a good gray hatter, if they're a good gray hat, they'll take that, you know, those security concerns to the company and be like, hey, you might want to shore these situations up because you know you're kind of opening yourself up to some fuckery. But they're a bad gray hat and they don't do that, then it's not good. It's not good times.
No, not at all.
Yep. Well, there you go. So that is the platform news for the week. And we are now moving on to a segment that we call "What Are We Playing?" We have 2 games right now, and hopefully coming up here soon, we actually will have a couple more. I'm excited about some new games that have been announced, some of the stuff that's dropped in early access. And definitely make sure that you stay tuned. Again, we've mentioned this before. Subscribe to the channel. Go and make sure that you go to anchor.fm/PrePatch podcast or your favorite podcasting app and subscribe there and link up with us because we've got some cool, interesting things that are coming down the pipeline that we're not going to share yet. I've shared with some of these guys, but not shared in fully with some new upcoming games and some scoops. So super excited about that. But let's talk about Wayfinder. So Scruffy and I have played the early access version of Wayfinder. Enigma and I were playing the beta version of Wayfinder. So yeah,
Kick it off.
Yeah, okay. All right. So here's the thing, right? So if you're unfamiliar with Wayfinder is a third person. They claim MMORPG that is action based. That is it's an over the shoulder.
It's light on the MMO.
Yeah, I would say it's very light on the MMO.
It's about as MMO as Destiny is.
Yeah,
maybe less.
Maybe a little bit less. Yeah,
it's got open world areas. Like I've
but
seen
like
them at least.
and again, I don't know if this is because of the server issues. Like first and foremost, the thing is getting fucking just destroyed.
Talk about rough launches. Early access or not, this has been a rough launch for this game.
Yeah. Like constant kick issues, constant queue issues. If you do get kicked, you get put back into a queue. The queue has gone down. I don't know if that's because people have stopped playing the game or if it is because they are fixing issues. But
we can tell.
Yeah, I mean, we can look at Steam charts, but also the game is on Epic. It is on PlayStation. It is coming to Xbox later, I believe, because I don't think it is fully launched on Xbox that I saw. But anyway, it dropped, right? Like it's player base
dropped a lot.
Are you looking at Steam charts?
Yeah. They went from 24,000 to a peak of 13,000. So I mean, it didn't drop a ton, but
it's not a ton. Plus, that's only one platform to take into consideration. But still, yeah.
So
there's going to be a drop. There always is.
It's very akin to Warframe. I personally think it looks like a mobile game. Like the hard part about this game is that there are moments where it shines and it feels good and it feels fun to play. You know, you're actively, it reminds, you know, me and Scruffy have said it multiple times, and it reminds us of WildStar days, of like the art style.
It's got that WildStar appeal, the comedy, the flashiness, the comedic, effect. Yeah, it's got that.
Where it you know, and like, I don't like. There are some moments. I just want to say there are moments in the game where I'm like, yeah, cool, okay, this is fun. But also too, there are a lot of moments where you get into it and you're like, and not even just bugs. Like because it's early access, so I'll take the bugs away from it. but like one, you can. The
Can I jump
object of
right
the
into
game
it?
is to the object of the game is to grind out gear. The object of the game is to grind out your character, your weapons, your wayfinders, right?
Grind out
Um,
mats to craft to
Right.
new weapons, new wayfinders, all that kind of stuff.
So we thought, okay, cool, no problem. We went into the store and we looked, and I was just questioning because comments that the developer has made was like, oh, the store is cosmetics. Like there's cosmetics in the
Mhm.
store, which there are cosmetics, and there's some pretty dope cosmetics.
Pretty good
But
looking cosmetics. honestly.
there are
Yeah.
also a tab that says weapons. So I was just like,
Yeah.
So me and Scruffy were kind of like playing around with it. And I was like, screw it. I've got my Founders Edition coins. I'm going to dump another $10 into it.
Oh, did you get your coins?
Yeah, I finally got my coins. That was one of
that's
the other
another
bugs.
thing
Yeah.
too. Oh,
People spending
jeez.
$150 to get into this game if you choose to get to the big boy edition was
Yeah.
not getting all of their stuff. So I spent another $10, and in fact, you can see it right here. The weapon that I'm carrying right next to Scruffy is one of the legendary weapons that you have to grind for. I was able to pay for it and just buy it.
It's a grind too.
Outright.
It's not an
It is
easy
not
grind.
easy, like at all. And I was able to just
Yeah.
buy the weapon, completely outright. It starts at level 1, so it's not like it comes out with any kind of like
Is-
crazy features.
No, but I
when
imagine
you-
we don't
when
know
you-
for sure, but I imagine the weapons you craft too are also
That's
going
what
to start
that's
at
what,
level
that's what I was
1.
going to ask. Is
So-
when you grind those weapons, do they start at level 1 or do
I mean,
they get
I can't say
boosted?
for sure. Cannot say for sure. We don't
I
know.
would
We have not
assume-
crafted a weapon yet, but we would assume, right?
Right,
that
because
you
each
craft a new
weapon has
weapon,
its own
it
level,
starts at
yeah.
level 1. Each weapon has its own level. Exactly. You got to level it up. So when you
Yep.
just outright buy that weapon instead of crafting it, you're just starting at the same place that you would craft it, right?
Yes,
So
right.
what is the point? What's
Yeah,
the point, man?
It's very like it's
Is this a
deterring 'cause-
PvP?
No
No.
PvP, so all
Okay.
PvE.
It's all
So
PvE.
It's
that
not as bad, but
not
like still,
as
still
bad, but
it is
still-
it is definitely pay to win. Like it's not.
the
I
fact that
would
there-
I
the
would call
option
that
is there. That's
I would call that pay to win, not pay to progress, because like
right.
pay to progress is like you pay for stuff to help you like
to
with
boost
crafting
the speed
shit,
of crafting, like
but
go
like
of
not
collecting
just
mats,
paying
not
straight
just-
out for the fucking weapons and
yeah,
shit.
and skipping all of the rungs on the ladder. Like
Yeah.
Like and the issue is that there's not it's not just like the store has just a few items. Like if the store had just like a few paid items that were kind of like whatever, like maybe a little tweak, or just again, I don't know why they just didn't do a skin. Like if I just want the skin
like
of this
that's what I
weapon.
thought at first, man. Is like, all right, well, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that maybe these are just skins of the weapons that you can craft that then you can apply to other variants of those weapons. Like you have a shotgun, but you want it in this rifle skin. Sure, there you go. Buy it, equip it, boom. But no, yeah, you just straight up buy it. So
Yeah, it's
I don't know why they went down that route. It's
but it's
Why?
all of like all of the weapons.
sorry
Like,
for my gameplay, man. It's so
Jesus.
it's
fucking stuttery. My ISP.
it's all of it's like all the legendary weapons are all up for grabs and buys. So it's not like there's
Yeah,
just
all
like
of them.
some of them
Like-
and you can get better ones. Like
Yeah.
it's all of them are up for grabs to purchase. And I like I said, so all in all, I have dumped $30 in it, $20 for the early access, and $10 for the extra, just to test this out.
Yeah.
People that have spent $150, granted, you get $120 worth of content like out of it, like with coins and skins and wayfinder tokens and all that kind of stuff.
Pretty dope skin too.
I
They
just
got good cosmetics, man. Like that's the thing too.
I just
They could have done it with
pissed
just that.
because
Yeah, I would too.
I just like the content of the game itself. There are some really like the world is fun to explore and
Yeah.
jump around.
So that
in
was
and
the
shoot.
bad that we got
Yeah.
into, and there's
Yeah.
still little things, but that was the main point of contention. Like now, like the good is the game. It looks good. It's a really aesthetically pleasing game. It's got a great world. The dungeon system, I think, is where it really excels.
Yeah.
You go into dungeons that you can kind of mold right off the bat. A lot of games have this dungeon map system, or like this game has, it's called
Like
the
affix
imbuement system, affect system. It's called the imbuement system, where you go into a dungeon and you can imbue that dungeon with different modifiers that will affect enemies, affect loot, affect yourself, and you can combine them too. So there's a lot of endless like combinations that you can do to the dungeons to change them up, and also to change them up to your advantage, say you need to go into that dungeon for a certain item to craft, well, you can imbue that dungeon to get that item pretty much, you know?
Right.
So it's really cool. It's got a pretty in-depth dungeon system and it feels good, man. I like that.
The other thing about the imbue system, what I think is really cool, is there's a mystery to like mixing and matching the imbuements. I don't know if you mentioned that, but like
I've looked at it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like you can go in and say like, hey, I want to do like a solar imbuement, which means that I'm going to be taking damage over time. It gives me a buff, but like I'm also going to getting a debuff. But then I can also attach this like greed imbuement, and now together
that's where the combinations.
Yeah, it's like okay, cool. Like now you've got this like fiery like gold thing, and it does something completely different, and whatever else. And like their boss mechanics, their boss fights are really cool. Like we did one yesterday that was called the gloom something, or I don't know. It's like this big blob.
Mother or
no,
that was a
gloom mother or something like that. I don't know. Gloom. I don't know. Anyway, it was like this big blob thing, and like it had like all of these different mechanics and like different things. It was super fun to like play around.
Jumping up in the air, spawning ads, of course. But then you kill it, it splits off into like Zach from League of Legends, bro. Legit, four little slimes come out of it that start going towards the middle that you have to kill. You have to do that like a few times to really take this boss down. It's cool. It's an engaging mechanics that they offer for the bosses and other stuff in the game too.
Yeah. I would say honestly, like the open world, though it is very beautiful and fun to explore, I like explore. I don't think it's enough to explore. Like honestly, I would have much rather than have hub worlds where like I just basically go into a hub and then I jump into a dungeon and then I go through that. Like I don't know if this game needed an open world aspect of it.
Is the Highlands just a really big hub though?
I don't know.
Because I'm pretty sure it is.
To me,
I don't think it's necessarily an open world though.
It's it's open world in the sense that you see other players. Like it's not like Breath of the Wild open world, but it's not like a generalized like.
But it's still
dungeon.
It's not a generalized dungeon, but it still has dungeons off like off the side of it. Like the pit is a dungeon in the Highlands or whatever. So. But I think it is kind of like a hub, but it's a large scale hub.
I just don't know if there's a necessary reason for that to exist. Like I think that this is the crown jewel, which is their dungeon system and like that.
Definitely.
And like I much would have rather just gone to the whatever the great lift, been there, do my shit there, then run out and say, okay, cool, I want to go and do this dungeon.
True, right? But I also think that depends on like the type of player you are. Myself, I've actually started exploring the Highlands, and I found some pretty interesting like POIs, points of interest, that have been fun to explore and do like little side stuff as well. So it kind of offers two sides of the however play style you want. You can have just straight run dungeons all the time, though you do have to progress through the Highlands, so that is kind of forced, but you don't have to explore everything. You can just rush it.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, but I guess.
It does have dungeons.
Yeah, so it's an MMO.
It's an MMO, so
then that means it's
dungeons.
an MMO. Yeah,
absolutely. Again, here's what I'll say about the game, because I don't want to spend too much time because we do have a lot to talk about. But like, the game is fun. I can't see spending $20 on it. I definitely can't see spending $150 on it.
Until they like, that's my biggest thing. Like I'd like to play it, but like I don't want to spend the money on it until they get their shit fixed. Like I think it's a good free to play game, for sure. I just like with other games being out right now and coming out, like I just don't see this as something I would just be like, yo, I'm gonna definitely spend a shit ton of my time doing and playing. Like again, it's enjoyable. Every class can play every weapon. Like it's kind of the same way I feel about Paleo right now. It's like I've been playing Paleo a little bit recently, and like it's a fun game, but I'd wait until it releases to free to play. Like it's just not that good
because you have to pay to get into that, right?
No, you don't have to pay.
Paleo is out.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, there's moments where I am like, oh, I'd really like, and again, like we said, this is where it shines. You're looking at a dungeon thing that's happening, event that's happening. That you did not need to do. It was just there. It didn't tell you what you have to do. And you're just kind of like, what am I? Yeah, just figure out what the hell is going on. Which is cool. Like that's a really great exploratory, kind of nature to the game. But I don't know. Like I don't. I don't have a piece that I'm
I
just like
think
I got to keep coming back to it.
I think they've got a good like bone system or whatever you want to call it. Like I think they've got a good base to it, and I think
Right.
once they like tidy everything up and like they get their shit together and figured out, I think it'll be a really good game. But
I just don't know what they're gonna do about the weapon
yeah,
system.
I don't know what
and
they're
honestly,
going to either. I think that's a
have not
terrible
looked
idea.
into it, whether or not there is community feedback on what people think about it. I can't
They
see
call it
people
like
being happy about it.
I went on to like Reddit, and there's a lot of people that are complaining about like
Good.
I was trying to figure out if
rightfully
it was
so.
like that night
I-
you guys were playing that first night. I was trying to figure out if it was pay to win as well, and yeah,
yeah, man.
Reddit's Reddit's tearing them apart for it.
I hope they somehow
it's pay to
roll it
win.
back because it
100%.
is.
Well,
It is.
no,
It makes it
100%.
pay to win.
I don't think
yeah.
there's any argument.
No,
Yeah.
it is.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's Wayfinder. The other game that came out, and I didn't even know it was even happening. I've been playing a little bit of it. I haven't been playing it on stream. I played it on stream for a minute and then I stopped. Do you want to say this is not our gameplay? This is gameplay. I want to give credit to where credit's due. Rubhin925. So on YouTube,
Thanks,
this
Ruben.
is their gameplay footage. But this is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I bought the game, booted it up, refunded the game.
Did you buy it or did you get it on Game
No,
Pass?
well, so I bought it because I didn't know it was on Game Pass. That's my own dumbass fault. I didn't know it was on Game Pass. Bought it, refunded
check
it.
Game
That's
Pass
like the
first, man.
standard
And-
nowadays. Check
and-
Game
Yep.
Pass.
Yeah, and went to Game Pass, and I'm happy it is on Game Pass because I that pushed me to play it more, and I really am actually enjoying this game quite a bit. As somebody that does like DBD, not nearly to the extent of Bill and his community, but I did really enjoy DBD. I put time into DB&D, and supported them all the way up until recently with buying all of their content that they drop and all that kind of stuff. This was not something that I actually was even interested in at all. And then it just kind of dropped, and I was like, all right, well, let me give it a try. What makes this different than DBD? All right, so first off, this is a 4 survivor versus 3 killer kind of playthrough aspect. You are playing obviously survivors versus the family. So you have like the hitchhiker, you have the cop or cook as he's called in here. Obviously Leatherface. Someone has to play Leatherface every single time. You can't not have Leatherface. Then you have like Emmy and a couple other people, and then there's an aspect called Grandpa, which is like he's always on the map. Bill,
So you just play as Enigma.
yeah, Bill, you played this. Didn't you play the beta or early access to this or something?
No, I played early access to Evil Dead, but I didn't
Evil
play
Dead,
this
okay.
one.
Gotcha.
The thing that I will start off with the bad on this is that they don't teach you shit. They don't teach you a fucking thing. Like there are tutorials, they are garbo. Like it is you get in them and like you drop into it and like they're not like really in depth or even let you like play like a map like by yourself or like with like AI components, which I think
For like
would
a
help.
horror game kind of like that's
It's
fun.
I mean,
It's
yes
kinda-
and no, but
because like it just throws you into it like, all right, figure it out.
Throws you
You're on
in the
your own.
sharks, man. Throws you
yeah,
in the deep end.
I mean, yes and
Yeah.
no, but in a situation where like even like you're coming from DBD into something like this, like you kind of have an understanding, but this still throws you for a huge loop. Like you're like, what is this sound meter across the thing? Like what
Right.
is going on? So the objective is that as a survivor, you need to escape the house, and you have multiple different ways of doing it. Like in DBD, you have to get the generators. Well, in this,
There's
basically,
is there a couple different stages that you have to escape, right? It's
yeah.
like
So you
first
start off in the
house,
basement. Yeah, you start in the basement. Then you go to the house,
Is that
and
the
then you go to
grandpa?
outside. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the grandpa. Yeah. And if you make too much noise, then you alert grandpa.
Grandpa, wake up.
Yep,
Yeah.
grandpa
You
wakes
guys-
up,
Who woke me up?
and then you can, as the killer or the family, you can give him blood, like feed him blood to make him more powerful, which then alerts. And every time that grandpa goes off, if you're moving, it's a sonar and lets you know that okay.
And yeah,
Enigma moved to it became Bill,
tropical,
and
bro.
Bill became Enigma.
yeah, Bill had a BRB.
But anyway, so it's like a sonar. So the sonar goes off and it lets them know where you're at if you're moving. And the more
Right.
that they feed grandpa blood, the higher his level goes and the more frequently it's going off. And then at the highest level 5, even if you're standing still, it's going to alert them to where you're at. So there's a mechanic there that lets you rush it. Basically, you can rush Grandpa. But what I like is that there's a deterrent for them as well, because if you do that, you're focusing so heavily on getting Grandpa blood that you're not focusing on the survivors. And so we as survivors can basically really quickly get out if we know what we're doing, or we can go and stab Grandpa and decrease his level, which is really cool.
Dang, sorry, Gramps.
Yeah. So, this is a game where Scruffy, you've asked to be able to fight back. Like, one of the reasons you did not like DBD is because you cannot fight back. And this one you can. Like, you can. Like, this, what Ruben's doing right now is he just basically created a shank out of bones on the ground.
Nice.
And he can go up to like stab one of the family members that are chasing him. Yeah, he or she can stab one of the family members that are chasing him. And then that stuns that person for an X amount of time. And based on how you level your character, you might be able to get more stun. You can get your health back. There's a bunch of cool mechanics. So it really gives you a great playability and, customizability.
You can even stab your fellow survivors, right?
I don't know.
I saw a video
Maybe?
of I think
know.
the girl that you're playing shank another survivor to give them a better chance of getting out.
I
or
don't
something
know.
along those
Maybe
lines.
I have no idea.
Maybe okay. I don't know either, but like that's something I saw. I was like, wow, really? That's interesting, right?
But they also
Make
do
yourself the final girl.
a really good job of like making each character feel unique and different and have different powers and different kind of things. Like, one of the guys is named Leonard, and his job, I think it's Leonard. But
Probably.
his job is like, his ability is I can basically shoulder charge one of the enemies and stun
game
them.
is $40.
Yeah, it's $40 or
on Game Pass.
Or on Game Pass.
Game Pass, yeah. Hey, it's made by the Hood and Outlaws people.
Sure.
Did not know that.
Great.
Sorry, just looking at.
That means it'll die a quick and painful death.
Quick death. Oh no.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, is the publishers or the developers? Because that's two different.
The
things.
developers.
Oh, because I thought the developers of this were the developers of the Friday the 13th stuff.
Sumo Digital, and I believe so. I thought they also developed that, but that game shut down, so it's not. I don't think it's showing on Steam anymore.
It's showing. It's Sumo Digital was the developer for Hood Outlaw Legends.
No. For not Hood, for Friday the 13th.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure about that. Yeah.
Well, look, let's like Hood Outlaws had a lot of potential. It just
it did.
Yeah,
it
had a lot of potential. It's just the fucking development company didn't do anything with it.
Yeah, well, that, and I think also the community gave up on it pretty quickly too.
Well, because the fucking developers didn't do anything with it.
Publisher. Oh no. These are separate developers. Maybe I could have sworn there was something. Gun Media. The developers for Friday the 13th were Ilphonic or something, and this is digital, Sumo Digital. So I don't know.
But is it the Hood Outlaws guys?
It's the Hood Outlaws guys for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They're the same.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't think this game is gonna die because a lot of the DBD community, surprisingly, I thought they were gonna cannibalize this. I thought they were gonna just like hate it.
That's pretty good.
They really are they really are enjoying it. Like there's not saying that they're gonna leave DBD in the dust, but like this is a competent, like real good competitor to
They're
DBD.
a very gatekeeping community when it comes to these games. Like it's
the thing is like Hood Outlaw Legends was really enjoyable. I enjoyed Hood Outlaw Legends. There was a couple of things that I didn't enjoy, but like the biggest reason why I and a bunch of the rest of the community left is just simply because there wasn't any content. They just didn't do anything
and
with
some
it.
design
issues. Yeah,
but we don't. Yeah.
So we'll see if they do anything, or like if it's a continuation or not.
The biggest thing that I have with this is I don't, because they are locked into this IP, right? Like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Where do you go?
From
here? Right. Because like map wise, character wise,
honestly, I think that's kind of the same situation they had with Hood. Is like they were locked into that Robin Hood. Where do you go with it? You know.
Yeah, but Robin Hood, you could. I mean,
Robin Hood had a lot more than they could have done.
100%.
Robin Hood had a lot more than they could have done, but like
I mean,
they
I
were still
get,
locked into it for sure. But
I guess here, because there's there's several different maps. Like there's gas station, there's the house, there's the farm, there's like a bunch of maps. But like,
do you think they'll go down the Dead by Daylight route of like having Nicolas Cage as a character?
Nah, I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't
I
know.
can't see that.
I don't know what you could possibly do killer wise and survivor wise, because you have to do three things. You have to have new maps, you have to
Yeah.
have new killers, and you have to have new survivors.
Yeah, definitely.
To make the game viable. I don't think, or viable on a longevity route. I don't know.
Is that Grandpa that just ran by?
No, that's Cook. And each one of the killers
Oh.
has their own unique ability. So Cook has like a sonar thing where he can listen in and like hear people talking, and things like that. So he can listen in, and it's not just voice chat. It's actual like lines. Like I hear it says I have to find the others. He could listen in and kind of pinpoint in a general direction where where this person was. Connie, or not Connie, Emily, I think her name is. She can like, or Emmy, she can like vomit, or not vomit, poison. It's not vomit, but she like poisons the area. So like you're slowed and like your vision's all fucked up. Hitchhiker can track your footsteps. Leatherface obviously is the only one that can tear down barriers. One of the other guys, Johnny, I think, can do like different traps on like doors, and like lock stuff. What I like again also too, as one of the survivors, I can actually latch a door. So like if I latch a door, the killer has to find a way to get through it, or they have to have Leatherface come in and basically saw the fucking door down.
Bust it down.
Which is cool. So there's a lot of cool elements, and again, I think the game has a really good viability option. It also keeps you from being able to just camp or like cause like the killer to stay in, because you have a certain amount of time. Like you're constantly as a survivor losing life based on the state of your health. So you have that heart you see down there. If that continuously keeps
Like
going
a sanity? Is that like a
kind of,
sanity?
yeah, like you're constantly losing health and you have to replenish it, and eventually you will just lose all your health and
Right.
and die. So it's good. I don't know, it's fun, man. The game is a lot of fun. There's a lot of perks, a lot of different builds, a lot of different variety to it. Like the tree is really fun to go through, like the skill tree. It's a lot of fun. I've been enjoying the shit out of it. And again, it's free on Game Pass. I really recommend going on Game Pass. I would actually, this is one of the one games where I would say it's worth the 40, but I would wait to see what they're going to do with the content, because that's the biggest thing. If they're not going to keep pushing out maps and stuff for that, this is going to die.
Could be like the Evil Dead, where they just kind of drop it and then nothing happens. With
Well,
it.
while you were gone, we found out that it's being developed by the same people that developed Hood Outlaw Legends. So like they were not very good with like keeping content coming and such. That's why Hood Outlaw Legends kind of died. But yeah, it's I would definitely it's a good Game Pass game, I would say.
Yeah. So
at that point then.
Mhm.
But yeah, so that is Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
The game.
Yeah, that's the games we've been playing. I'll throw something else out there. You guys can go ahead and yell at me. I had a bunch of people from my work that are asking to play World of Warcraft Hardcore. And yes, I subscribed to play World of Warcraft Hardcore Classic.
That's not surprising anymore. We already know that you're a Blizzard shill. We already know that you're a Blizzard whale. That's not surprising anymore, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Are you subscribed to all their games right now, or buy all their games right now? Subscribed and bought.
I think he has actually.
Actually, I have 4 subscriptions to WoW now. I just I figured why not?
Woo.
So, yep, why not? All right, so now we're going to be moving on to the segment where we talk about all the gaming news, and there's quite a bit of things that are going on. But we're going to kick off with Gamescom. So, Gamescom, first and foremost, I think I can speak for all of us on this show. Can we please, for the love of Christ, stop going and interrupting Jeff Keighley on stage? And if people are going to do that, I think that should give teetotal rights for Jeff Keighley to cock that mic back and knock them fucking square in the
fuck
nose.
out of him.
Just straight whop, man.
He's
One good
too
time.
nice of a guy, man.
He is, and he doesn't deserve it, man.
Yeah.
Nah, he handled it well.
Yeah.
You could tell his
You
frustration.
You could tell he was
Oh,
flustered and frustrated
Yeah.
for sure. It was.
Like,
it
he
was
kept
not,
his composure and just was a
Yeah.
disappointed dad. Like, come on, man.
I just don't understand it, man. When it happened, I was watching. I was just like, this is not like if you think that this is funny and like you're going to be like some kind of like clout. You're chasing clout in some instances. Like, yeah, you're gonna get clout. You're gonna be that
Yeah.
guy that jumped up on stream or on stage and talked
Not gonna
about Bill
be
Clinton,
the
right?
good
But like
clout.
the in the end, what's gonna happen
If
is
there's
you're
good
just gonna
clout.
ruin it. You're just gonna ruin it for everybody else. They're not gonna do
Yeah.
in-person events anymore if it keeps happening. They're not gonna continue to do fucking live events where people have access to like front stage shit, you know. But like one thing that you said, Scruffy, and I completely agree with it, is like that fucking security that they had was piss poor, man. Like,
Bro,
come the fuck
if that
on,
was
dude.
them just
He was on
walking out to
stage,
stage
yeah.
and they just casually walked up
He
like
he was on
"Kick
stage
it
for
off,
like a
dude."
solid like 60 seconds,
Yeah.
and they just
And not
kind
only
of
that,
casually
you
strolled on
brought up
over.
the point, or you and Bill or somebody brought up the point of like that guy could have been
Could have had a
threat.
knife. Yeah, you could have had a weapon or anything like that.
Dude.
Like I don't know. I don't know what their security was like getting into the actual auditorium.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm sure that they probably ran people through like metal detectors and shit. I hope
Yeah.
so at least. But like, yeah,
I-
100%. He was within reaching distance. He could have
Yeah,
shanked
for sure.
Jeff Keighley. He could have got up there with a weapon. It
Well,
would
that-
not have been
that's-
good.
That's gonna be the next thing. Like that's gonna be the next.
Yeah.
Like they're, you know.
And that's scary. I mean,
And the worst part is that like we've had 2 of these now, and it's just
Yeah.
emboldening people further to do that.
exactly.
right?
It's becoming a trend. I'm not gonna lie. Like when the first Bill Clinton kid did his thing, like at first I was like, "Dude, this kid's crazy." Like that was funny. That was crazy because he did it so slyly that he walked up in there and did that. This guy, on the other hand, just waltz up and just blatantly right into the mic. It's just if this is becoming a trend, it's not the way that it
Well,
should go
then-
down. And like you said, it is going to ruin it for everybody. Which
Well, the first kid too, like, continued to do it. Like, it was like he made this like it because people talked about it because the internet.
Yeah.
And I mean,
And
we're not immune to that. Like, we are talking about this, but
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, it emboldened him to do more of that kind of shit. Honest
Yeah.
to God, if I was Jeff Keighley on the next one, my very first words out of my mouth be like, "Let me explain something. If one of y'all come up on this stage, they're not supposed to be here. I got brass knucks,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna knock you the fuck out." Like,
For
Yeah.
real, bro.
that is legit.
Just be
what I would-
just be carrying around a bat.
Yeah, just be like, I'm gonna kneecap the shit out of you. You're gonna walk up, you ain't gonna walk off. That's for damn sure.
right,
like,
man.
It's
Uh.
fucking stupid. But yeah, I mean, there's a bunch. I mean, so you know, Gamescom, there was a bunch of stuff that dropped. Do you guys have like anything particular that you guys want to talk about that I can pull up? I can show videos of while we're on there because, like I said, a bunch of shit dropped.
I missed it, so I have to like kind of live through this moment. See what you guys. Are
I mean,
talking
they
about.
had a lot of like decent like. Did you watch it, Bill? Or
I
Sim?
watched
Did either of
I
you
watched
guys
the
watch it?
highlights of it. I watched
Okay.
a few of the trailers that I was interested in.
Yeah, I got to watch a little.
I watched some
bit
of the
it.
interviews.
Yeah.
They're honestly, Xbox had a really good showcasing.
Xbox
the
and
event.
Xbox and Phil are like kicking it out of the fucking park with this shit.
Yeah.
Like for real. Today just alone, we've had a ton of like Phil Spencer just like comments, interview. You know, like his. I think it was either today or yesterday that he pulled up. They were asked him about Bobby Kotick and like the fact that like
Yo, he
developers
was
don't
so-
want
Oh,
the fact that developers don't
Ooh,
want
Steed.
don't want fucking
Call of
Xbox
Duty
Game
on
Pass. And he was like, "What are you gonna do with Bobby Kotick?" And he looked at him and was like, "Well, there's somebody else making the decisions."
Bro, that is
Yeah,
so
dude.
cutthroat. But that's perfect. That's exactly what he needs to
Mic
say.
drop,
I
right?
was like, "Yes, Phil, yes."
I mean,
That's-
that's it. Yeah.
I mean, they've got
true.
to like they've got to, you know, they've got to show and win over a large portion of people that don't think this is a good idea. And what are they
For
going to
sure,
do,
yeah.
right? And how are they going to turn the ship? Like Blizzard is a fucking Activision is a fucking laughing stock.
Yep.
So
you know,
with at least the trailers, do we want to go? Because I watched
I'm-
the entire OG or opening night live.
I mean, I'm
ONL or
showing
whatever it
Crimson
was.
Desert right now. If you wanna
Crimson
talk about
Desert.
this.
Is that
If
what
we
this
have,
is? I was wondering what this
this
was.
is Crimson Desert. Yeah, if we want to go like down the chain of like what was shown first, that was like huge. You had Killing Floor 3, which I was really shocked about. I don't know if you
I
looked
like
at
Killing
that.
Floor. I
Yeah.
didn't. I don't know how much.
We
How much did they
had-
show on that.
They didn't show much. It wasn't
Nah,
too much.
just
They
like
had
kind of an announcement.
Rebel. They had Rebel Moon, which you know, Crimson
Isn't that
Desert.
Zack
I've been
Snyder's
looking
thing?
forward. I think so. Yes,
Yeah.
this
I
Rebel
think,
Moon
yeah.
was that Netflix TV series, which Zack Schneider on stage is the most awkward motherfucker.
Zack
I've
Snyder in
ever
general
seen.
is a fucking awkward piece of shit. So his movies are terrible
So,
too.
But yeah, Red Crimson what is it called?
Crimson
again?
Desert.
It's Crimson
Crimson
Desert.
Desert.
Crimson Desert. I always get it fucking wrong. I've been watching this for a while because obviously this is made by Proabyss. It's made by the same people that make Black Desert.
Which is
so
now
there's-
officially an MMO, which is good.
there's correlations. It is an MMO. It does
MMO.
have dungeons now.
But
there's
Crimson Desert is not, right?
No, Crimson
Crimson
Desert.
Desert is not. No, Crimson
what I
Desert, as
thought the
far as I
difference
know,
was.
is a single player game. There was rumors that they might have like drop in,
Yo, did
drop
that
out
horse
co-op.
just drift like Mario Kart.
Yes, that's a Black Desert thing. Your horses somehow can drift
That
and
is
go.
so
That's like
fast,
janky.
fast, fast.
Okay.
Okay.
So, but yeah, this is supposed to be like their single player version. It runs off of the same engine basically that the Black
Beautiful.
Desert
Looks
runs off
very
of.
similar,
It's
honestly.
gorgeous. Gorgeous engine, great combat,
Yeah.
everything like that. Like the actual combat inside of Black Desert, that is one thing that I will continuously say Black Desert does extremely well, is like their combats and everything like that, right? And like how it looks, how it feels. Black Desert is a pinnacle of like an Eastern MMO to me.
That was
That's like
a QTE or
the
QTE is
best
a common thing.
So, what's that?
There's a QTE in there.
A
Quick time event.
Oh, quick
QuickTime
time.
event.
No, quick time
Oh.
events are not standard in Black Desert. This is just that's single player
In Black Desert
version,
Online, yeah,
essentially.
that's
Black
for
Desert
this.
Online, yeah. So this, from what I understand, it's set in the same world as Black Desert. It's a completely different. And don't quote me on that. I'm
Is
not.
that Fortnite at the end there? They were
I'm
dropping
not
in somewhere.
100% on that, but I'm pretty sure it's set in the same
It's like a
world.
rift portal.
It's Twilight. It's Tears of the Kingdom.
It is Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah. So it's you get everything you get from Black Desert. You get the combat. You get the gorgeous visuals.
What,
and everything like that, and now you get
no. They take.
I don't know
that
about
out.
that. I'm not sure about that. I hope so, because like a single player with
why
fucking
would you need it in a single
grind,
player
yeah,
game?
that would be ridiculous.
So that was my whole thing with why I did not enjoy Black Desert is the grind was
I
just.
mean, that's why I didn't like it. Yeah, it
exactly.
was
It's just
ridiculous.
too much.
Yeah.
Just
I
absurd.
love that system, but I could not stand that there was a
I
dungeon.
liked it. I liked it in the start, like when I first started playing
Right,
Black Desert,
then
but
it got
like
absurd to
it just
endgame.
got to a point with like their pen systems and like upgrading your equipment and everything like that.
honing,
How
right? The honing system.
the
or
honing
whatever it
system and the
was.
upgrading system, yeah.
So
It just got to a point where
Jeez.
like you would literally spend
Yeah.
like 30 hours a week grinding to make enough money to make one pen
So
attempt
if they
and
just take
probably
that
break
out
it.
and make this just a single player
Look, they
game with
just-
a
I think that's what it
single
is.
player
I- I-
progression. What I mean,
I
like
think-
a progression
I think
of a
that's what
single
it
player
is.
game. You know, none of that like MMO
Yeah.
grind. You know,
Like I
Still,
said, I'm pretty sure that that's what it is. It's basically all the good stuff from Black Desert in a single player like RPG
without all that bad,
without all that
grind.
bullshit. Yeah.
all that bullshit.
So,
So yeah,
I equate it more to like
Go fishing mini game. We love that.
I equated more to like Geralt and The Witcher.
Witcher.
like
That's
that-
what I was getting.
It feels a lot like The Witcher to me, or
Like
like
a
maybe even like a Witcher
action-
with Skyrim
a
site
fast
type
action
of thing.
See,
combat.
I get
Witcher.
Elden Ring vibes off of it.
Elden Ring too. Yeah, it very well could be, man. And we don't know a ton about it. Obviously, like we've seen a couple of different videos, but they've never actually shown like solid gameplay mechanics on it. So
I mean, this is the perfect engine for a single player RPG.
it really
I
is.
won't- Like
Yeah.
it really is.
So
So,
it looks good.
It does.
Looks
We'll give
very
him
good.
that.
I'm actually excited for it. I'm hoping that it'll scratch that itch that I have for playing Black Desert, because I've went back to Black Desert a couple times over the past like 2 years, and I can't do it, man. Like the grind is still there. Black Desert has become a lot more pay to win than it was before. Like you can now basically purchase pen and tet gear and all that shit. So it's just not a fun time to me. So a single player version of that would be a great thing in my opinion. So
We also saw this, which I'll bring up as well, which is the Nightingale got a release date trailer.
Nightingale is looking really
Finally.
good. Finally, yep, it's officially released. I believe it was delayed until 2022, but it's now being released
February.
in February of 2024. So we're coming up on it. You know,
Do you think this game is going to be what we're hoping it's going to be? Because like
I hope so, man. I like the look of it. Like I really it scratches all those itches for me where it's like the Fey Wild and like the 19 or the whatever it's called, the Victorian style that you see we had in that one MMO from in New World, right? It's got a
Yeah.
lot of that Victorian style to it. So
It's giving me
and we
very
don't see
much
that a lot.
like almost like a survival remnant style game.
Kind
Like
of, yeah. That's
and
what I think. That's what they're going after. Is like they're trying to. It's trying to be like a almost like a survival esque. There's a word for it. I can never. It's Edgardian. It's a survival esque Edgardian game
Yeah.
essentially. So that's what they're trying to. Oh, Scruff.
yeah, Scruffy's
Power
power
went
went out.
apparently.
Um,
I'm back. I'm back to being fucking
he's back to being
invisible again.
Bill. Yeah.
So it personally to me it looks really good. They haven't really I mean they've released a bunch of information about it. The biggest system that I'm really looking forward to is their realm walking system or whatever they call it. It's like a portal system that you can like customize what the world is going to be like with these
Yeah.
cards, these realm cards, which seems like a really cool idea to me. I and just like the gameplay in general looks really fun. I'm a survival I'm a survival player. I do like survival games, so that's it gets a plus for me at least. I don't know. I think that like if you enjoy Remnants, you'll probably like this. Just based off of like Remnants like background and like their storytelling and everything like that. It feels like it's going to be like
On-
the pan and everything like that.
On the survival kick, I don't know if they announced. I don't know if it was announced at Gamescom, but it announced around today or around all this. But did you see where Icarus launched their relaunch and they did their new expansion, which is Frontiers, which is the their open world. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, so now they're doing like an
Icarus.
open world.
Icarus is actually I was really impressed with Icarus. I had issues with it when it first released. I enjoyed playing Icarus when it first released. But like the system that had like the where you had to go down onto the earth or onto the planet and you had a very specific amount of time.
Yeah.
They finally removed that and that made the game feel 100% better. Like 100 times better.
Yeah, well,
So
supposedly
I've been extremely impressed with Icarus too because like they've almost like encapsulated that and we're going to talk about this as well later on. They've almost encapsulated that No Man's Sky style of like game development where they've released like pretty much on a weekly if not like bi-weekly to monthly basis new updates. I think they're on like update like 68 now.
Yeah.
Or something like
I know this is
that.
I think this is expansion 6 for them, if I'm not mistaken.
Let me go and check really quickly on Icarus. Icarus, yeah, they're on. I can't find their update. Cool.
Well, either way, they're updating it quite
either way,
often, and
yeah, they're updating it very often. So
yeah. But I don't know,
75.
I just saw that, so it was and there's something I wanted to jump back into just again because the open world aspect I think it was really cool, so they did open that up.
90. I'm sorry, 90. They're on week update 90, and they each of those updates is like pretty substantial. Like they have some pretty deep updates. So I've been extremely impressed with that. So, but yeah, so Nightingale's looking really good. I'm excited for that. I know that I'm probably the sole one in the entire podcast that enjoys survivals to that extent.
Oh,
but
I like them. I'm waiting. I don't like them as much as you do. So,
yeah,
for sure. Bill, was there anything
Did
that
you?
Oh, good.
I was gonna say Bill did. We'll go with Bill because I was gonna bring up Grand Blue Fantasy or not.
Well, they don't have I didn't see a trailer. I'm trying to find a trailer for it, but the site I have does not have one.
Get you one,
unfortunately. But Bill, was there any that I think they dropped the launch trailer for Armored Core, right?
They dropped the launch trailer for Armored Core, which I'm going to be playing tomorrow. Black Myth Wukong looked really decent. I actually am kind of interested in that first Descendant game that released a trailer.
Here's Black Myth Wukong. This was the world premiere trailer, right? We didn't get an actual.
I don't think we have a release date,
right? I thought they already did like a gameplay trailer.
They've done a few different gameplay trailers.
Reveals.
This is just the most recent one.
I dropped that video for Grand Blue in the show notes.
Okay, I will go grab that. Yeah, I mean, from
this,
Oh, that dude doesn't have a head. What?
This looks interesting. It looks weird. I'm not. I don't really. I can't really say anything about it because it's a
Souls-like, right?
Souls-like game.
Yeah.
So I have no real cash in the pot. But
I know that graphically, when what I remember seeing, like it was fucking gorgeous. So did they launch? Wow, that is a bloody kitty. I mean, was there what about this like kind of piqued your interest? Is it just the fact of just seeing more of it?
Yeah, just seeing more of it. I haven't been sold on it as of yet, and this still didn't 100% sell me on it. It looks very nice,
it's really
but
good.
it also looks a bit on the shallow side. So
Yeah.
I, it's been interesting seeing it develop over time.
So
But as far as the Souls like and stuff goes, I'm still not 100% sold on it. There's a lot of flashiness to it, but it also looks like it's a bunch of like push a button, do a really cool like 5 second animation, and then wash, rinse, repeat.
so let me ask you a question. So because in the wake of Elden Ring, right, and all of this stuff that's been and the rush to Souls like games.
Right.
Do you because we have Lies of P, right? Because that's not out yet. I think that's coming soon,
That comes out next month. Yeah.
right?
It's about a month out.
We had what was the automaton one that you
Oh, Steel Rising.
Steel
Rising, yeah.
Rising.
Right.
We've had
Thymesia.
Thymesia. I mean, all of these games
Lords of the Fallen is also coming out.
that's trying to. Do you think that it? I guess because they all just fall short in a way, right? Like, I mean, they all have their own. Like, I'm not gonna say I don't want to say that they're bad, right? I think they all have like their like Thymesia had some really cool things, like
I very much enjoyed Thymesia. Yeah.
Do you think that it's a world where instead of just saying, "Hey, we're a Souls like," which means we're going to be incredibly hard, that they need to that's kind of like hurting them, and they need to step away from that? Like, is there a world that this is enough?
I think
is enough?
Souls like is expanded out too much. I think that term has lost pretty well all meaning at this point, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because it used to be a very refined type of action RPG, whereas now it's just any game that has difficulty in a
Any
third
game
person
that's very
camera.
hard. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
and I think that's one thing that if anybody is ever disappointed in a quote unquote Souls like, it's because of that all encompassing nature of it these days.
Well,
Like
it's like it's instantly as soon as you attach that name, it's instantly compared to Souls, Bloodborne, Elden Ring.
yeah, there's an expectation that gets drawn to it, and that can be both a boon and a negative if it'll bring like recognition and like it'll get people like looking at your game. But if the expectation is off kilter from what the audience is wanting, then it could be detrimental once it's actually out. It's a weird space to land, and this is, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think there's another game that has really developed a genre out of it like the Souls series has.
No, I mean,
Not that I can think of
the only one I
anyway.
would think of is maybe like the Monster Hunter, because I like what draws my mind to it is like the
Very true.
the what's the one that we just we were all playing and we
Wild Hearts.
Wild Hearts, right? Like I think probably maybe the Hunter, because then you also had Wild Hearts, you had what's the one
God
game
Eater.
God Eater, what's the one game Enigma that you got fucked over by whenever they went to Epic?
Oh, Dauntless. Yeah.
Dauntless. Like I think that suffers a lot of the same things, but I think that those are probably the only two that I would know of that would be
Right.
comparable.
But yeah, I'm interested in this one. I honestly enjoy most third person action RPGs, whether they're difficulty based or not. Like I enjoyed Final Fantasy 16. I didn't really like Steel Rising that much. I liked it at first, but it was very repetitive. But this one's it still has my interest. It looks like it's a mix of like a Souls style game with almost a God of War aesthetic to it, because God of War was kind of push that button, do cool thing, go
Right.
back into comments, and so on and so forth. So
You think Lies of P is gonna hold up?
if they work on a few things, I think it has a potential to be probably one of the better um, non From Software like true Souls likes. So
Cool.
yeah,
Awesome.
I think there's good potential for it. I'm looking forward to that one quite a bit.
And I think you also said First Ascendant. Sorry, basically, chat. What we're doing is because there's just so much news that drops at Gamescom. I'm basically we're searching through the different trailers and things like that that got announced, so that we can show you guys what we're talking about here. So this is First Ascendant. Now, the only thing that scares me about First Ascendant is this Nexon?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's
we've played this. We've actually played this.
Was this the one that we played? Was First Ascendant?
Yeah.
Was that this one?
First Ascendant.
Yep. Okay.
This is the one with the bunny mech or whatever it was, like the
girl
chick
in the
with
bunny
the bunny ears.
suit.
Yeah. So it's it was rough, man. I'm not.
Do you think?
Granted, I'll give it to him.
Improve.
I was about to say I'll give it to him.
The trailer
like
looked impressive.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Is like I'll give it to him. We kind of gave him a rough treatment. They were having some issues when we first started, but
Nexon always does this. I feel like
that's the biggest thing is with Eastern based stuff is like their graphics always look amazing, but then the gameplay is subpar.
This
by far.
is the open beta, right? That's happening. I think.
I'm not sure.
It's not for release. I'm pretty sure. I think they said it's open beta. That's happening. I mean, I will give it another look, right? Because I'm pretty sure it's free to play.
Right.
It's open.
Some of the systems, I will say that like some of the systems that were inside of the game when we played it were interesting. I enjoyed some of the systems, but like
it didn't feel like this. Like what we're seeing.
Yeah, it was just very. It didn't feel amazing. Like
it was.
This gives me like Warframe meets Destiny vibes.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, and also we Outriders, right? Like very Outriders feel. Like when we played it, that's when I was like, this feels a lot like Outriders.
If it feels like Outriders, maybe not.
But again, maybe they have done a lot of work. The game needed a lot of work. Wow, that guy will just like zip line in that girl's chest. But I mean, nothing. I just say nothing we played looked or felt like what that looks or feels like. So
how long ago did you guys play it?
It was when it came out in their open alpha or whatever. It was like through like 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah, which again, it could have been a big change. They could have done a lot, right? Like,
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
Took the info from that open alpha and
I know there was some people that enjoyed it. Like I know that Crow Templar enjoyed playing it, but he enjoys playing any game.
I was gonna say Crow Templar. I'm tired of being using as the litmus test because that dude enjoys everything,
man.
I don't think I've seen him dog another game.
He's the best of us. He just enjoys.
But I don't know. I had reservations about it, but we'll see. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and try it out if it's free. So
yeah. I mean, maybe they'll not worry about or they'll worry more about this game and not the lawsuit for Dark and Darker with Iron Mace.
Maybe.
Okay. And Enigma, I think you said Grand Blue Fantasy. That isn't.
Grand Blue Fantasy Relink is that co-op Grand Blue Fantasy that we were talking about a while ago. You
said you put it in the show notes?
I did. Yeah, it's the second black link underneath.
Oh, I see it. Yep.
So they released some it was just a very vague and basic like release date trailer. I think it's being released in February again.
And this is the co-op, the multiplayer version.
This is the co-op.
Dude,
this is the co-op one.
So ready for that. I love Grand Blue Fantasy. I just have I didn't play a lot of them more of them because like they're not like it's single player whatever. I am so fucking I cannot wait.
It looks good, man. I'm very impressed with like what I've seen so far. I've never played a Grand Blue Fantasy myself.
They are so fucking good.
I've heard good things about them for sure, but I've never personally played them. It does remind me very heavily of like I don't want to say it because I know that some people find it offensive, but it looks like just a very basic JRPG to me. But I could be wrong.
It's I mean it is a JRPG 100%, but like the combat, the fighting,
it does remind me though of like of like and we'll go back to that the whole Monster Hunter-esque genre, right? Like this reminds me like from the point that I first saw it, I was like, this is a freaking anime like Monster Hunter world, like Monster Hunter fighter game with like anime waifus. Like I'm sold.
Sure, yeah,
Where
yeah.
do I
mean,
sign?
but like it surprisingly enough, as someone that doesn't care like as much about stories and stuff like the story in this is actually very good. The cutscenes are
I
very
don't
good.
doubt
Like
it. Yeah.
the combat system is very fucking good. Like it is a very well done game. Like Grand Blue Fantasy is one of the like games. If you go and ask people that love JRPGs, it usually is always
Yeah,
within like the top 5, if not top 3.
For
There's a
sure.
Grand Blue out there. So
I've heard very good things about it. Like I said, I've wanted to play Grand Blue Fantasy in the past. I've
bro,
never
let's do
been
it, man.
one that,
Me and you will link
yeah.
up, dude. I will
I'm definitely
fucking
gonna try
go
it.
down.
No, 100%. And the fact that it's the fact that it has co-op and everything like that.
Yeah,
Like 100%.
I'm all in,
I'll
man.
try it out. I don't
I am
care, man. Yeah,
all
100%.
in for that.
So yeah, so February 1st, 2024, it's coming out on Steam and PlayStation, I think.
PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's coming out on Xbox. So Xbox, it's just another game you don't get to play.
Yeah. Well, talking about Xbox of games that they didn't get to play, but now they're going to possibly. Well, now they are. I think they announced that they are going to be able to bring it out this year. Is Baldur's Gate 3?
Yep.
Yeah, that was a surprise. They didn't have a hard date for it, but it seems like the success of the game has shifted their interest in making sure that one actually comes out.
Now,
the success and it was coming out on it already. It's just they were having issues with the Xbox Series
S, which we will go on record
is
again.
A cancer.
Yes, myself, Bill, at least I don't know if I speak for the whole rest of the podcast, but myself and Bill will go on record and say that system needs to be dumped, cut, destroyed, and fucking let go. Like
There's holding
no
the
reason
entire third-party generation back simply because if you want to be a third-party developer and not just have it on PlayStation, you have to develop with that console in mind. And that console being so underpowered limits potential across the board.
What they've essentially done is they've attacked, and all you Nintendo heads, and Enigma, you're one of them now too. Don't attack me on this. But basically what it has done is said, remember that era when everything, like it was like whenever the Wii
clutch my Nintendo Switch to my chest right now because
whenever
something mean about it.
No, whenever the Wii and Wii U were out, it was mainly the Wii U when it was like games have to come out, like we're coming out for all of them, and the Wii U was included. It was they just weren't good. Like it was because they had to develop for the Wii U too. It was just like games were just like kind of brought down. Like that's exactly what they did. They basically strapped a Nintendo product to say, hey, here's a Switch. You got to develop for your Switch. Your game's got to be the same for the Switch. Bring it out on the Switch. With everything, like it needs to be let go and just not be forced upon. Like again, I'm not sliding the Switch. I'm just saying it is knowingly underpowered comparable to the other units that are out there.
How dare you?
So it needs to go away. It just needs to go away. But if you are going to buy it and you do have an S, you need to know that you're not going to be able to play couch co-op. Like there's no split screen on it. That was one of the modes that said that it would not be able to launch with. Is couch co-op. There's a bunch of other news that came out during Gamescom. For the sake of time, we have a lot of other stuff we got to get through in 9 minutes for the sake of the podcast. But there was a bunch of news, and we'll be covering these games as they get closer to the trailers.
Honestly, the bigger ones we're already covering. Like we can do it just really quickly if we wanted to. Like Diablo announced their Season of Blood announcement trailer. That
Season
was a thing.
October 17th.
And then that was honestly, other than like Mortal Kombat 1 and Warhaven, like those are the only two like huge ones that released in my opinion, at least. Marvel Snap said is now releasing on Steam. Yeah, PC.
Well, it's on. What I don't understand about that, it's on Steam already, but it was like a mobile client version of it. I think they're launching like their full version.
I think Last Epoch also released like a new class.
Yeah, their Rune Master class, which was supposed to be coming for a long time. Hey, I give them props. I give props to Last Epoch because they're like, you know what? I understand that we are in the wake of Path of Exile 2, and Diablo 4, but we're going to stand here on our own.
We're just going to keep going.
So keep doing your thing, man, and on there. So, and there's a whole bunch. There's
and it's still coming out. So we'll probably cover even more next week. So
yep. So I know Scruffy, I know you're saddened you wanted to be here for this. But Red Dead Redemption re-release, not a remake. What the fuck is this, dude? Like,
it's so bad. I wish that we would have been able to cover this when it actually happened. Like, obviously, we're covering it now that it's actually released. It's out there now. Please don't buy this. Please, what
Don't support this.
whatever you
garbage.
do, please don't buy this. Like, if you have
Go
to play,
emulate it.
yeah, I was about to say, if you have
Damn.
to play Red Dead Redemption 2, go fucking emulate it, please. Because please,
oh,
please do
man.
not pay
Hey,
$50
we as
for a
podcast
13-year-old game.
Don't advocate for stealing or games and stuff like that. Just saying.
Find another way to play it. Is all I'm saying.
That's a
Like,
better way of
please,
saying it. Thank you.
please don't pay $50 for this fucking game re-release of a 13-year-old game. It's a great
Wait,
game.
It's $50 bucks.
It's $50. Yes.
Fuck, dude. 50.
It's $49.99. Yep. $49.99 on both. I think it's on both for $49.99 on both PlayStation and on the Switch. So,
Wow.
it's a great game. Don't get me wrong. Red Dead Redemption is fucking amazing. It's one of the most iconic games that I can remember playing from my childhood. Right, like Red Dead Redemption 1 and Red Dead Redemption 2 will go down, I think, in history as some of the best games that have come out, in my opinion. But yeah, don't go and repurchase a 13.
It's not even released on current gen. It
Nope.
was just all
Switch
released on.
and
It's just-
PS4.
Huh.
Yep.
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 Huh.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Mm-hmm.
and on top of that, so it's a re-release of the original game. There's no changes. There's been no changes to it, no graphical updates, no changes to like story updates, anything like that. They are releasing it.
Graphical updates with the FSR, I think it was, whatever
Is
the
there?
the
Okay,
AI
I didn't hear about that.
upscaler is.
Sure.
But it's
Whatever.
it's
Fucking
negligible.
They are releasing it with Undead Nightmare, which is a boon. Undead Nightmare is one of the best. Like, it was a great DLC. I'm not taking that against them. Fucking fantastic DLC. But it's arguably, and like, you would have to argue very hard to me that it's arguably a downgrade, considering they have Red Dead Online, but it's not active. You can't play Red Dead Online.
Right. Well,
So-
yeah, it says right here in this article. This is the article that says that the Take-Two CEO calls Red Dead Redemption's port commercially accurate. Get
Commercially
the
accurate.
fuck
Yeah.
out of here.
$50 price tag for a 13-year-old game, and he's like, yeah, it's commercially accurate.
That's
I don't
also
know what you guys
missing
are talking
modes.
about.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like,
I
and
don't
doesn't
know what
take
you guys are
advantage
talking
of
about.
newer tech.
On top of that, considering he's saying that it's commercially accurate, considering you can go and get this game for the Xbox and play it on the new Xbox, because Xbox has cross play compatibility or whatever it is. You can play like Xbox 360 games on the Xbox, right? You can go and get this for like $9, if that.
Yeah.
What I love here is that it goes, and as for the decision to forego a PC release for its Red Dead Redemption port, another contentious move, given the game's continuing absence on the Zelnick wouldn't be drawn when asked if there's a possibility. So basically, he just said, "I'm not going to answer that."
Yeah, he's not gonna make a comment, essentially.
To put it in comparison's sake, Dark Souls Remastered, which is a much newer game to be remastering, it's sold at $40 with the DLC. So
This is
even
insane.
it wasn't
Insane.
I don't know, man. It's just another
dick
instance
move.
of Take-Two.
Just-
Yeah, it's just
and
another
it had
instance
working
of
online
Take-Two being-
functionality.
It's just another instance of Take-Two and the entire Rockstar franchise being just a bunch of dickheads. Like legitimately, there's no reason why they should have.
You know, honestly, too, like, why not just source the fucking thing out to somebody else that wants to do it? Like, that's what they did with Dark Souls. They give it a Blue Hole, or not Blue Hole. Was it Blue Hole?
Well, that's the
Blue
thing
Point.
is like
Blue Point.
that's the thing is like they had Scruffy says he wants to go on record and say Rockstar can eat a flaming bag of rat shit. There you go. That's
Richard.
Scruffy's opinions on that. Thank you, Scruffy.
Why don't
Coming
you
from
just join
Scruffy,
from your, why don't
straight
you
from
join from your
Scruffy's.
phone? You can still join the call from your phone.
Straight from Scruffy's fingers. So yeah, what was I saying again?
Flaming bag of dog or rat shit. No.
Yeah, that just took the flame right on my sails. The
that
flaming
they're,
rat shit right on my sails.
I was talking about how they could just farm it out to Blue Point, like something like Blue Point, and do it.
Oh yeah, I was trying to put forward that there was actually people that were trying to port Red Dead to the PC as a mod, and Take-Two shut them down.
Of course they did.
Yep.
So
Well,
Of course they did.
didn't they just buy? They also bought No Pixel, right?
No
Like, didn't
Pixel,
they-
yeah.
The No Pixel guys, like.
I don't know if
man.
it's No Pixel or if they bought the red whatever it is, the red launcher or whatever.
Oh no, that's
Was
right.
it-
They didn't buy No
was it
Pixel.
No
They
Pixel
bought
or was it a launcher?
no 5M is what they bought.
By them, that was it.
5M,
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Okay. Well, what a dick move. Well,
yep,
cool.
good old Take-Two.
Never
being
mind.
dicks.
I would say Microsoft, come in here, buy this company, and fix them too. But no, let's not. let's not do that. Well, speaking of the dick companies, Epic is known for being very dick-ish. Have we hit our amount of dicks that we could say on YouTube?
Dick.
We still have a
Dick.
few
It's
more.
not YouTube. We got to worry about it's TikTok.
Yeah.
It doesn't
okay.
like dicks.
All right. Okay, they don't like dicks. All right. Well, vaginas. They're known to be vagina. We'll even it out.
They're okay
known to
with
be,
vaginas. They just
Okay.
don't like dicks.
Well, they can be giant vaginas. But I think this is actually a pretty dope thing. So this Epic is launching what's called Epic First Run. If you're unfamiliar with what Epic First Run is, basically it's offering it's a third party system for revenue sharing for timed exclusive on Epic Game Store. Enigma is naturally going to hate this 100%.
I already am very angry about it.
But for developers and game developers, if you are one that listen to us, starting October 16th, you'll be able to opt into Epic First Run to receive 100% of revenue for 6 months before returning to 88%. Look, I mean, for a developer, that's a big dues, man. That's a big deal. Like I like one of the biggest things that Steam gets hit on is their share, like how much they don't give back to the developers and stuff like that.
The thing, so like whenever somebody comes up with that argument, I always have to rebuttal with this, right? Everybody comes up with the argument of like, well, Steam takes 33%, so they're fucking up, they're fucking developers left and right. What people don't mention is the fact that Steam has one of the largest player bases on the face of the planet when it comes to
Not
video
denying
game
it.
launching
I'm not.
titles.
I'm just doing fact to fact, like number to number. I'm not knocking that, but this is something that as a developer to go, okay, I can get 100% of the revenue, though it may be smaller. I mean, you have to do the math, right? Like that's the biggest thing is that you've got to do the math to understand whether or not this makes sense. Excuse me, I gotta take a sip.
No, 100%. I understand that like the math is there, that they're going to be in the long run, they're going to be getting more money out of their game when it comes to when not just even from this specific this specific instance, right, where they're giving them the first run initiative, right? On top of that, if they're doing anything with Epic Games Store or not Epic Games, their launcher, not the launcher, their fucking system. What's the Epic Games Unreal Engine? Unreal Engine.
Yeah.
If they're developing with anything to do with Unreal Engine, right? Epic Game Store gives them basically, I think they give them free. They waive any of the requirements that they have to do to pay for like licensing or anything like that, as long as they launch it on the Epic Game Store, right?
Right.
And on top of that, they give them all that revenue split shit. So it's a great deal. I'm not saying I'm not taking that away from Epic Games. What I am taking away from them is the fact that again, it's just, we've seen ever since Epic Game Store came through that like it's done nothing for the gaming community on the PC. In fact, it's ripped them apart even further.
That's where they're getting hit in forums and stuff like that is the exclusivity piece. They're saying, hey, what you're doing, though, yes, you're helping game developers, you're hurting players because you're saying that we can only get this on Epic. And some of these
I even saw in there it makes it so that they can't put it on PC Game Pass,
right?
For that,
like it has to be exclusive.
And it can't have been on any other subscription service prior,
right?
Yeah.
So like it can't be on GOG, can't be anywhere else. So
it furthers my hatred of Epic Game Store and their bullshit.
The other thing
exclusivity contracts
that I would also hit is that it's a known fact that Epic and other platforms don't play very well when it comes to crossplay functionality. So like even in Wayfinder, which we talked about earlier on the show, I'm not going to go on record saying that it doesn't, but I have yet to see an Epic account show up. I've seen Steam, I've seen PlayStation, I've seen Xbox or PlayStation and Steam because I don't think it's not on Xbox. But I have yet to see Epic. Like, so if people buy the game on Epic and then go and they have friends that buy it on Steam 6 months later, if they can't play together, that sucks. Like that's just a terrible function. So, you know, I don't know, but it is a positive move, at least for Epic or for game developers. I will say that. Like it's a move forward.
Sure.
All right. One of the other things I'm not gonna speed run through this stuff, but we are gonna talk about is obviously PlayStation. We talked about this a while ago.
Oh God, no!
When we first started. Well, we're not gonna get all heated about this.
No, this one gets me heated. I hate it. I hate it so much.
So, PlayStation, we have talked about this on numerous occasions at numerous different casts. It launched their remote play system.
Well, they haven't launched it. It's
or,
no,
launch
later in the year.
They launched announced it. They announced their remote play and gave a price point, and they did not give a firm date, I don't think, as of yet.
No.
They have put this in the hands of some reviewers. I know, like MK
USA, MK,
MKBHD got it. And
they flew them out and tested it on site.
The reviews I am hearing are not from hands-on people.
I think IGN had about the nicest review they could have possibly had, and even then, it was like, "Who is this for?"
Yeah, no, it's not a fuck, like there's no like who's it for? Like
there's no reason to have this. This is literally
it's a $200 controller with a screen on it that you can literally only play if you have a good enough connection to the internet for. The
pros for this thing, the only pros that I could see for this thing is the fact that as far as gaming handhelds go on the market currently, it has the highest resolution screen and frame rates possible that I have seen. It's better than Steam Deck.
That's because all it has to do is stream it.
And that's exactly right. It's because all it has to do is stream it. So this device basically fills the same function as a tablet, a laptop, a cell phone, anything that has access to Sony's remote play system. This is basically that, but a $200 price tag to have the Sony model to it.
I'd also like to be able to just say this, that if you are, I'm not even going to say moderately, like you don't even have to be that smart when it comes to like wiring your house, networking your home. You can do what this is doing for like $40. Like if you have a device and whatever, like it's not hard to mirror images and shit to your rig, like into a handheld.
No,
device.
It's really not. Hell, you could even, if you have, what I have in my setup is I have the PS5 out in the living room, and then I have the PS4 back in the bedroom TV, and I can remote play PS5 games to the PS4 and play them there.
But you can't play it on your toilet.
But I can't play it on my toilet. Like, you're absolutely right. How dare I? I obviously need this at that point. You're right. You just sold me on it. Thanks.
I got it.
I will say, welcome. Like, one thing I will say is, like, for it like $199 is not terrible. Like it's not a terrible like actual like price tag if they had a certain amount of other, like if they had Bluetooth, if it had some way of actually playing games on it, you know, like $200 for like having an actual like system that you could handle without having to have it tethered would be a great. But that'd be game changing.
I still even if it added Bluetooth and that, like that's still not like.
Well, no, I'm saying if it added Bluetooth and the ability to play games on it without having to be tethered
but you can't
to the
even,
PS5.
You can't even play, like it can't even stream. Like you have to play games that are hard downloaded on your system. Like one of the downfalls.
It basically gives you remote access to your system from that device. Yeah.
But
to have it be a $200 value, in my opinion, it needs to at least bare minimum have access to PlayStation Cloud servers. If this thing had the ability to by itself,
which baffles me, it's a streaming device that has no access to their fucking streaming service.
Yeah,
I don't understand that.
Hold on, let's correct this. It's not a streaming; it's a LAN device. It's just a LAN device.
Yeah.
Technically, it does have access to their cloud service because you're directly
as long
interfacing
as you
with your
stream it to you
PS5.
through your PS5.
It's third partying. But if it had native ability to access the cloud service and it had even one game that
Yeah.
it could because the problem with this device, the biggest issue that I have with it is that unless you are tied to a decent Wi-Fi connection,
I think they said it has to be. I think they
15.
said it has to be
Yeah.
like 15. Yeah,
That's what
15
they
gigs
recommend
up.
is 15.
or
I think
download.
5 is the minimum. 15
I'm
is
gonna be real with you guys. I have played with PlayStation Cloud services. I have played with Remote Play. You need at least, I would say, 20 plus
I
to
wouldn't
get
doubt
a
it,
good
yeah.
connection with it.
Without any
I tried
stutters,
Remote
yeah.
Play back when I was in college at the university library. It got, I think, 13, and it did not function very well. This course was back when I was in college, so 5+ years ago. But um, I don't get it. I don't know who this is for. Plus the lack of Bluetooth. You can hardwire a headset into it
Yeah, it's so
with
weird, man.
with an aux cable, but Sony's doing some fucking Apple shit where they have their PlayStation Link system, and these two headsets
Now-
that are on the screen here, the headphones and the earbuds, are function through this PlayStation Link system, which means I don't even think you can use
you can't use
those
them
two
outside of it.
peripherals
Nope.
on anything else
No.
outside of your PlayStation.
That is a
Not at the
that is
moment,
a
at least,
firm
yeah.
Apple move.
How fart smelly can you be? Like, this is for the Sony whales out there and nobody else.
I will say though that from what I have heard about those at least the earbuds, because I'm very interested.
I heard the
they're
audio is great on
amazing.
them.
Amazing.
I heard it's amazing. Yeah, I heard it's really good, but you can only get it on your fucking PlayStation.
Yeah. It's like I don't know. This is stupid. This is stupid. And to cover one of the things that we're going to cover a little bit later on, but like Microsoft, like on this, and I don't want to say it was on the back of or whatever else, but Microsoft also then kind of turned around and go, oh hey, by the way, my PC Game Pass is available on GeForce Now. Like,
Yeah.
have that. Like, you can now play PC game, which that's huge. Like, GeForce Now is actually, I don't know if you guys have ever used GeForce Now. It's actually decent. Like, it actually works pretty well. Like, I've used it quite a bit, and it's perfectly fine. I mean, again, if you're in a low latency area, you're gonna have problems, but for the most part, not a big
One thing I'm interested in with this, once people get like actual hands-on time outside of a lab with it, battery life. I'm curious to see what the battery life's like, because
I think they said that's
this bad boy right here gets you 6 to 10 hours.
That's what I was about to say. I think that the Review Tech USA, I was watching him, and then I think I was watching MK. Were saying that it was going to be that Sony had come out and said basically it was going to be just like your controller. It was going to be about 6 to 8 hours worth of.
Meanwhile, the Switch Pro controller that I have has went probably a week without needing charged and still going strong. So, and secondly, I'm interested to see what the hardware modding community does with this. I would like to see one of these things jailbroke and see what it can function.
It's gonna be ran on Android.
If it is, I will apologize. If it's not, you can go fuck yourself.
I've been reading so many places that are stating that it's being ran on Android. We will have to see, but yeah, 100%. I think it's being ran on Android.
I'm curious to see what the jailbreak.
And if it is,
this thing is going to get jailbroke to hell.
If it is being ran on Android, I think that's a good thing for the jailbreakers, because that means that not only can you essentially play whatever you want on your PlayStation, but if once you jailbreak it, you could use it as a stream device for
any cloud-based
service, which includes Xbox Game Pass.
I just don't know what they're doing with this thing, man. I have no clue.
Are you sure that this plays? Good.
No, what were you saying?
I was saying, are you sure that this thing plays PS5 cloud streaming games if you're cloud streaming it through the PS5? Because on here it's saying it's not.
It says it's not. It effectively has Remote Play, gives you full access to your PS5.
It effectively becomes a streamed display for your PlayStation 5. So whatever you can do on your PlayStation 5, it'll stream it to this.
Yeah. So you're gonna have double latency.
Yeah.
you got the latency from the remote play and then the latency from the cloud server because it's basically a
So
middleman
it's
system.
gonna be it's gonna
But
be even
you
worse.
could,
on
in
your connections.
theory, access your PS5's cloud service and then remote play that to your
It
your
just
device.
doesn't. It
Well,
just doesn't like natively
Okay.
natively stream it to it without.
Yeah, I
having
guess
to go
I
to
guess
the
that's what this is
PlayStation.
saying is that because I'm just reading this is that it doesn't that PSVR 2 games which require a headset and games that are streamed through PlayStation Plus's premium cloud streaming are not supported. They're
Yeah,
stripped-
it's
so
not
so
going to natively
essentially,
support the
yeah.
cloud
So essentially,
streaming.
it's stating that you can't just use that as the device to play the streamed service games.
Okay, so
Essentially,
games that must be streamed on a PS5 using a PS Plus membership premium are not compatible.
yeah, they're not compatible to be played strictly just on that device. Is what
Okay.
basically. So it's all that it's doing is just streaming whatever your PlayStation 5 is displaying. So if you can play those things on your PlayStation 5, you can stream it to this device. Like Bill said, it's just you're going to be using up double latency. You're going to be using up latency to stream to the PlayStation, but also latency to stream to the handheld device.
Right.
What a big turd nugget this
I mean,
is.
considering you can remote play to a Steam Deck,
Yeah.
or a Rogue Ally, or a jailbroken Switch,
Or yeah, like I said, you can spend 40
Or
bucks
your
and
phone.
fucking
Or
go
a
on,
phone,
go on
yeah.
YouTube and fucking figure out there's a
yeah,
thousand
you
ways
can
to-
get a $70 controller attachment for
Controller
your
attachment,
phone.
yeah.
Okay. Well, that this is going to exist. Please, nobody, for God's sake, buy it. But that's gonna.
It's like that. It's like the Apple headsets, man.
It's gonna
Like,
be
who is
out
this
there.
for?
Yeah.
I am waiting for the day that we hear that it's on Android.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that day.
It's
It's coming. It's coming soon.
all right. I'm gonna quick hit the last because we're already over.
Yeah, we're already
Um,
over.
But some of the other stuff that did come out as well is that Microsoft, along with giving PC Game Pass now to GeForce Now, which again, if you're a subscriber to GeForce Now, you can now.
Oh
have
wait.
P-
Agent Scruffy is going on record saying that PlayStation Portal can go eat a flaming bag of rat shit.
Okay, cool. So that one and Take-Two CEO and Red Dead
There you go.
Redemption. Got it. All right. But they also announced their
I guess you Scruff.
plans for how to deal with the CMA because the CMA, which is over in the EU, still is in the process of blocking or investigating the Activision merger. They are basically, as part of this, is saying that they are going to allow for Ubisoft to sell off the what was it? I don't want to say
they are
sold off the rights.
selling the rights to Ubisoft. Ubisoft is basically purchasing the rights to all Activision Blizzard King streaming games. So, and that's new games and old games.
Right.
Which they will then essentially what they'll then do is they will relicense the license back to Xbox or Microsoft to be able to use those on other streaming devices or streaming services like Nvidia GeForce Now or whatever it is. So
Effectively using Ubisoft as a middleman
yes,
and putting them
only in the EU. Only in the EU. It's
Right.
only in the EU. EUA, I think is what it's called. It's like an acronym. I forget what it's fucking called, but it's like just the area that the EU, whatever it's the ACP or whatever the fuck it's called. I forget what they call it.
Yeah.
Is in effect. So
It's a 3D chess play, honestly.
yeah.
It's a pretty impressive problem solve.
Well, and the worst part about it is like they have I think another month until that deal is done.
Yeah.
And if the deal goes down, ABK, Activision Blizzard King, and Bobby still gets like $4 billion, I think is what it is, or like I think it's $4 billion.
They extended it 90 days. It's October 18th.
Yeah, so like at the end of September, essentially.
2 months.
So they have like a specific amount of time, and that's what this whole entire deal was meant to do. Is like they're just trying to get it done, essentially. To be able to not have to walk away from that deal, because if they walk away from that deal, then they have to go back in and rebroker the deal. Again,
They're not going to
Blizzard
walk away
King-
from it. This is going to get
Yeah.
closed. They're not going to walk away from this.
Again, Activision Blizzard King gets $4 billion regardless if the deal goes sour. they're still getting paid, so Bobby's still getting paid, so he's happy, you know.
Yeah. So there you go. And then other quick hit news that we have is No Man's Sky update. Actually, I reinstalled No Man's Sky. I'm
Did
gonna
you? I was thinking about it,
dude.
yeah.
Every time they come out with an update, I'm just like, you know what? I need to jump back in, dude. I'm gonna obviously Starfield is hyped. I don't care about Starfield.
I was about to say, don't burn yourself out on open space exploration
I-
before Starfield comes out.
I don't care about Starfield. Starfield's never been up my alley. I don't give a shit about Starfield.
How dare you, sir?
What the fuck?
Yeah, no,
dare
I mean, you guys have fun with it. I just have no desire to play
I'm not
it.
gonna have fun with it. I'm not
Yeah.
interested in either. I just thought I was the Lone Ranger on this.
No, I've never stood my ground to say that I am interested in Starfield. It's single player. It's not my thing. I don't care. So have fun. I'm not saying it's a bad game. Go enjoy it. Or whatever else.
I honestly hope it is good.
Yep. No Man's
I think it
Sky
will be. I'm hoping.
update. Echoes came out. The update had quite a bit of features. I do want to just go over a few of the features. So freighter battles, you can now battle among freighters. You have customizable staff, robotic races. They have the new Atlas multi-tool, holo displays, new story, weapon trading, Voyager experience, space combat got reworked, torpedo frigates, ship trenches. So now like you can like Death Star your shit or whatever else. They have pirate factions. They updated for PSV. Like, goddamn man, just keep humble
All
games
for free.
And for free.
All for free.
or Hello Games, all for free, man. Just keep at it. Great work. We talked about Baldur's Gate. We talked about
and
Diablo 4.
they celebrated their I think it's their 7th year.
Yeah.
The other day. Yeah, 7 years. They celebrated their 7-year anniversary. So
And
7 years of free updates from a game that I never thought was gonna go fucking more than a month.
Yep.
Yeah.
Crazy.
In closing, I got a question for you guys.
Sure.
So, speaking of Starfield, it comes out September 7th. It has its early access period. What also comes out September 7th is Baldur's Gate for PS5.
Yeah.
Do you think this was a strategic move from Sony to push the release date to that? And do you think there is any reasonable competition between the two releasing on separate consoles at the same time? I know they're very different niches of video gaming, but
considering Xbox doesn't have access to Baldur's Gate yet, regardless of the fact, I don't see it really affecting anything. No, because they're not in contention with each other, right? They're like it's like an Xbox, a PlayStation exclusive released and an Xbox exclusive release. They're not in contention with each other. They're two different factions of players that are playing on completely different consoles.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I think that I'm just trying to think, like, if it's me, I wouldn't be anywhere around fucking Starfield, like, because I'm gonna get completely just wiped. I mean, the Twitch directory is gonna be wiped out. All the media around it, like I would not be anywhere around Starfield.
Baldur's Gate 3's time to shine, I think. And then granted, I'm not saying that they're going to drop off the face of the planet. I think that Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be popular regardless of when they release, right? But I think that they're two completely separate entities. I really don't think that Baldur's Gate 3 releasing on PlayStation is going to affect Starfield release.
Well, no, I don't think that's what he's saying. I
versa.
think he's just saying that do you see Sony having a play in this, saying, hey, we want to launch something out?
Do you think that Sony strategically like
placed the launch
because they're on the exact same fucking day?
Right.
Maybe. I mean, considering the fact that they don't really have anything coming out in the next like year.
Yeah. You know? Sony did what Xbox did in 2022 this year, effectively.
I mean, it's very possible. I'm just trying to think of what the next like big release would be for them. Would it be Spider-Man?
It would be Spider-Man.
Did we ever find out if that was one of them
still
that
have
got
COD.
delayed?
I mean, COD is still multiple NW3. It's still
Did we ever figure out if Spider-Man was one of the ones that got delayed or no?
No, it's not delayed. Last of Us Factions was delayed though. Okay.
I mean,
sure. People are gonna look and play that. Yeah.
I don't know how big of an audience there is on PlayStation to play Baldur's Gate. Like, I
think there's a big audience. I want to bring up also to kind of close this whole thing out. And I might do my own video on it later. I haven't decided yet because I'm pissed about it. Did you guys know that the PS5 version of Baldur's Gate's $10 more than the PC version for no good goddamn reason? It's a $7 release
I mean,
on PS5.
to be fair, I paid $100 for my copy, so
I don't give a shit what you paid. But it's just it blows my mind that it's
So wait,
$10 more.
it's an $80 release then?
no 70.
70.
It's a
Whereas
70.
on PC it's $59.99.
Yeah,
On
$59.99.
PlayStation it's $69.99 for the base game.
I mean, that's not shocking.
And I do give a shit about what you buy, but I knew you buy the big boy
that's-
edition.
Well, we
so
bought the big boy.
that's
edition for
Sony.
I don't know why we bought the big boy, but we did for some odd reason.
You didn't buy the big boy edition. You got the big boy edition because you pre-ordered it.
Oh, okay, sure. I thought
Regardless.
whatever. But anyway, yeah, that's stupid. That's fucking
It's
ridiculous.
big dumb, and I'm curious to see if it's going to launch at $70 on Xbox whenever they get that.
Bro, if
sorted
they
out.
launch,
I don't
lower,
think it
that
will,
would be
man.
fucking
Yeah,
dumb.
I
Oh
think
my
they'll launch
God.
lower, dude.
That would be. Why?
And
I
I've
think
seen
it's
so
just
many-
Sony, dude.
So
Are
many
you
getting anything
Sony
extra?
fanboys online like defending this.
How? By
Well-
what? So you had to wait for the game to launch. You're having to pay $10 more. Are you getting any extra content with it?
Well, one, the people are saying, "Oh, Sony doesn't have any decisions on third-party pricing, so this is all."
That's
you should
bullshit.
Be mad at
That is
Larry, and
complete
you should be mad
fucking
at Larry, and
bullshit.
you shouldn't be mad at Sony. And
That
then
is
other
complete
people saying,
bullshit.
"Well, this is going to be the more stable version of the game anyway."
Oh
so
yeah,
it's fine."
right. We're not going to talk about the
The
fact that
amount
it's
of
been on
copium
it's
that
been on the
people-
fucking game. It's been on PC for like what, a year and a half now. Yeah,
The amount
Most
of
stable
copium that
version.
people had about this release, like I could not
oh my
believe
god,
that there were people that were happy they were paying a $10 extra.
that's
for
Sony
a
bros,
game.
bro.
Bro,
That's
that is-
they
that
will bend over and take it as hard as they as
Which
Which is why
what's his
Sony
name?
probably
Jimmy
feels
Boy
like they
wants
can
it.
release the Portal.
Yeah,
Oh man, that's rough.
it's
Especially if you're not
it's
even getting
Sony
the extra
bros.
content. You're just getting
Yeah,
fucked
Nah,
for the
it's
hell of it.
It's the base game. It's silly.
I would be
Mm.
shocked honestly if Xbox released it at 70. I'm not saying that they won't, because I mean I don't really see the
Dude, it's
reason
such
why
an
they
instant-
wouldn't.
it's such an
But I
instant
think it would just
win.
be a terrible decision.
I'm
Yeah, it
interested
would
to
be.
see also
rough
Baldur's
decision.
Gate 3 comes in on
Game Pass? That would be the
Yeah.
ultimate slap to the face.
No,
Like, you know what,
they
fuck it, we're gonna
won't.
go to Game Pass.
Larian has already said that it won't be
Yeah.
Game Pass, I believe.
Gotcha.
There's
Okay.
there's
So-
too many vaginas and dicks in that game anyway. By the way, we are gonna. I have decided we're gonna have a segment at the either beginning or end of the show that's gonna recap the speedrun community for how fast you can get into a sexual encounter interaction.
4 minutes,
within
man.
Baldur's Gate 3. 4 minutes.
Four-
right
four
now, that's the
minutes.
standard. So challenges out to the speedrunners of the Baldur's Gate 3 sex run. Beat 4 minutes.
I'm gonna.
So,
I'm gonna stream it. I'm gonna try.
Get
and
more
speedrun.
friendly with Lizelle, guys.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
So there you go.
Especially since you apparently on Twitch, if you're doing the sex scenes, you can get on the front page of Twitch. So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that was I've seen worse
Good
on
times.
Twitch.
yeah, no, I so have I 100%.
Well, that's episode number
I
90.
just love Bill's like, oh, at least they put the fucking the leaf in the front. I was like, Bill, that's not a leaf, bro.
I didn't zoom. I didn't zoom. And I'm colorblind. Okay.
It's a bush for sure, Bill, but it ain't a leaf.
Wow.
Oh
Wow.
god.
Okay. Well, I don't have a segue to get us out of that one. Episode number 94
Bye.
We're gonna
is-
make like a leaf and
is
blow away.
done. Sure. Yeah. Get all your bushiness out now. I don't know. Bye, guys. We're done. We're out of here. See you guys next time. Bye.
Hasta luego.